Hey guys, what's going on? Fi my pawn here, and welcome back to Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Since we last left off, I pushed myself much farther than expected, and I managed to get 6 hours worth of content, but as a result, we did manage to reclaim the ward stone and destroy it using our demonic energy, forcefully blasting it asunder. As a result, we also made Monago, and unfortunately Staunton has decided to defect to the demon side. Alas, that is not going to change much, as we will bring him back, in one way or another. But I digress. Without further ado, let's get into things and see what happens. Alright. Almost there. There we go. Now, before we do go anywhere in the slightest, thankfully we can get items, so we don't have to worry about that. So, I really just need to concern myself with mythic, because this is the first mythic level that we've retrieved. Now, unlike Kingmaker, Wrath of the Righteous introduces mythic levels. Mythic levels currently give you mythic hero abilities, but eventually you can slowly start opening up different paths that may intrigue you. In some cases, you could become an angel, for example. You could become an Azata, obviously. There is demon and trickster. So far, we've been doing the demon path, so it's very likely we might end up being a demon here. However, you get to make that choice at a certain point in the game. I will not spoil when. But for now, we are just going to take our first level as a mythic hero. From the list of options, we have a few things. We can go with the bit of fun, close to the abyss, close to heavens, dance macabre, force reality, and instrument of freedom. Now, because we do have L'Oreal's sword, that is basically our ability, but we don't need to worry about it too much. However, what we will be concerned about is what we are going to be choosing. We are going to be going for Dance Macabre, or Macabre, one of the two things it's called. We could also do Force Reality, Instrument of Freedom. It doesn't really matter. The point is that Dance Macabre will allow you to channel negative energy in a 30-foot radius burst, much like a cleric. The difference is that compared to a cleric, it deals damage or heals 2d6 plus 1d6 per mythic rank. So by the time you hit mythic rank 10, you are going to be dealing 12d6 as compared to a cleric's 10d6. So that's something to keep in mind as you're going with that. In addition, you also get negative energy insight, which allows you to gain some benefits in that regard. You gain, like, for example, you become immune to negative levels, you gain +4 saving throws against death effects, and you gain +2 to AC, saving throws, weapon attacks, and damage rolls against creatures with negative energy affinity. It's decent, and I won't lie, it's not a bad thing. There are things like Force Reality, Instrument of Freedom, but yeah. I think the most interesting out of it is Force Reality, because you can actually affect everybody within a 30-foot radius with greater dispel magic, affecting abilities of only the illusion skill. Well, I guess it's not that great, but in my first playthrough, I went with Close to Heavens, because, well, I went Angel Path, so it made the most sense. It heals 46 plus 2d6 per mythic ranks. This is a really good spell if you want to go a defensive route. Close to the Abyss deals more damage, so if you're looking to play an aggressive character, this is the way to go. But it's only good if you're going with, like, a very aggressive playstyle. But again, we're going to go with Dance Macabre. That is our goal. And as you can see, going by the progression, we actually get some special abilities, such as we can get a mythic ability and mythic feats. Mythic abilities allow you to get special boons of sorts, here and there. Now, I'm fine with most things here. Like, it's really nice to have all these things. It's really just a question of what you want to go with. Because I am a sorcerer, obviously the best way to go for is really just things that are going to make us even more dangerous. Now, there are two ways I can go about doing that. Well, either I deal damage straight up, and I go with Elemental Barrage. So, every time I cast a spell that deals energy damage to a creature, you apply an elemental mark to it. If during the next 3 rounds you deal energy damage to the marked target with a different type of energy, the target is dealt additional divine damage. So basically, if you mishmash your elemental attacks, this actually works. However, Elemental Barrage has a very specific quirk that allows you to deal additional damage with normal weapons, even. So it's a bit of a interesting little tidbit that you gotta keep in mind. There's things like Exposed Vulnerability, which is good for range attacks if you're looking to deal extra damage. What I find is used best is literally anything that will guarantee damage. So things like Thundering Blows is a decent one. So if you can guarantee damage like Thundering Blows, if you can get things that are going to guarantee your hit connecting, such as, if I recall, there's like a, there should be like a special ability that allows you to, yeah, here it is, ranging shots. Anytime you use a ranged weapon attack, it gives you a stacking +1 bonus against the same enemy, up to a maximum of your mythic rank. So those are other things that you can grab. There is also Mysteries which you can grab. Apparently Enlightened Philosopher is a nice one. There is the Second Bloodline, which you can take advantage of, because we are an Imperial Sorcerer currently. So we can take another Bloodline if we so desire. We don't necessarily need to, but it actually would change a lot from our build, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, what was it? Alright. Bonus feats of the elemental... let's see, Elemental Ray. Well, we get an Elemental Ray attack if we go this route. We get Elemental Resistance, Burning Hands Cold. I'm not sure we can convert energy or elemental attacks, though, is the issue. Which does suck. Hold on. Hold on, let's see. Whenever you cast a spell with cold, okay, grow claws, perception. That isn't exactly what we want. Let's see. There's Undead Bloodlines, which is very interesting. It gives us some interesting stuff. Serpent Bloodline, no. If I recall correctly, there should be an ability that allows you to convert your spells into a specific element. It's just been a while since I've actually found that. Or it's been a while since I can confirm whether that's a thing or not. Maybe there's something in Enlightened Philosopher. Nope. Enlightened Philosopher has a bunch of different spells. So, yeah, mysteries are not going to be good, I don't think. Yeah, no, we're not going to take that. But yeah, no, the biggest problem in choosing something is really just deciding what you're going to go. We are probably going to use Master Shapeshifter. I must admit. Additionally, if you have the wild shape ability, you can use it any number of times per day. That's actually really powerful. We're probably going to give that to our druid, above all else. We can also grab a beneficial curse without the penalties, so that's an interesting thing. Ascended element, right. Okay. Ascended element is a nice one. We could get Archmage armor. So whenever we cast Mage armor on ourselves, it gives additional armor bonus equal to our mythic rank. This is not so good early on, but later on it's actually really powerful. So we won't be getting Archmage armor just yet. Let's see. I do believe we want Ascended Element Negative Energy specifically. But we can go with Ascended Element Cold. I just need to see if we get any conversions. So give me a second. That'll determine what we go with for our Mythic. Okay, let's see. Elemental Bloodline lets you convert magic to a specific element. However, as already stated, one of the mythic okay. One of the mythic abilities, okay, lets you ignore elemental resistance, okay. Demons are immune to, okay. Okay, Apologies if I'm taking so long, but yeah. Okay, hold on. Almost there, alright. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to work, so if this does not work as intended, I'm going to be a bit miffed. But if I go into the Elemental Bloodline, and I go specifically the Water Bloodline, which should specify cold, which it does, then it should convert all spells, if we trigger it, into cold spells. So I'm going to do the Elemental Bloodline cold specifically for Skeletor for now. There will be conversions for other things, but we want to focus on cold, because that is the sort of casting that I was hoping for, more than anything. All spells that deal energy damage that you cast will deal cold damage instead. This also changes the type to a cold spell. So yeah, as you can see, it converts it to cold spells specifically. We are going to be taking advantage of this constantly, most likely. So we're going to go with that, I do believe. We are going to always keep that active until we otherwise say so. But we do now have a ray attack that is going to scale with our mythic rank. Or at the very least, it's going to scale with our cast level, I should say. So that's going to be nice. We also get the channel energy to heal undead and damage living. So that is a nice ability. We're always going to have the Light of the Angels, but, well, for the most part. But we're going to keep this. We're going to move these around just a smidgen. There we go. And while I do not have Ascended Element to bypass resistances just yet, I am not going to be worrying about that until we get to Mythic Rank 2. So expect some significant changes by the time we actually go to that point. Until then, I do believe it is next in our interest to get buffs, is it not?
Let's move already.
Yes, we're going to give our witch here. Is it our witch, or do we want to go with somebody else?
Keep your wits about you.
Alright, hold on. Okay, so our witch has reduced person, large person, mage armor, inflict, delay poison, and heroism. Okay, so she has some arcane, she has some divine.
Never stop learning.
I'm going to focus on Merman for a second. And we want to give him the very special trait, Enduring Spells. Now, it may seem like a normal ability, but it's actually really powerful if you know what you're doing. Effects of your spells on your allies should last longer than an hour, but shorter than 24 hours, now last 24 hours. With Enduring Spells, it basically allows you to take, I don't know. Where is it? You see how there's Bark Skin? Because we are a level 6 cleric, that's going to last an hour. That hour turns to 24 hours. So it's much on par to a mage armor spell now. We won't be able to affect resist energy just yet, but there will come times where it can actually affect those spells. The same can be said for our witch here, if I recall correctly, but let's check her spells. We would like to get her to Ascended Element Cold if we can help it, or at the very least, try and get her to a position where she can cast cold spells constantly. If we can make it happen, that is. So if we can get her to cast cold spells, that'd be nice. So we just gotta figure out how we're gonna do that. I guess the best way to do so is just take a level in Sorcerer and take... Yeah, no, if I take a level in Sorcerer, I should be able to make that happen. So I'm just gonna go with Ascended Element Cold here. And we might have to invest a level in Sorcerer or some other class to get her that elemental focus. She is an elemental witch though, so I should keep that in mind. So, hold on, what's her abilities like for an elemental witch? Let's see. Because she is a winter witch... Yeah, she gets patron spells here. Obviously. Alongside hexes, which is an obvious thing. Elemental rays are fine. Improved hex. Elemental ray cold. There doesn't appear to be anything that's going to help her change her elemental abilities, so... Yeah, we might have to take a level into Sorcerer or something, just so we can bypass resistances by using cold. But yeah, no, she's much like Skeletor with cold magic. So we're going to just give her that Ascended Element just because we can. We will need to get her some cold spells in general, but at the very least we can use Elemental Ray Cold, and that's going to deal actual damage. Alright. Let's hold on. Okay, so Beastman. We are going to give him the transformation, I do believe, as opposed to the buff change. Yeah, we want to focus on Master Shapeshifter first. We could also see about trying to get a spell to where we can, or a feat or something that allow us to cast while shapeshifted. But for now, we're going to go Master Shapeshifter, so that way we get +4 to all physicals anytime he transforms. So, for example, if he goes, I don't know... Oh, well, did I take... God, I'm being dense. Did I select that for him? Yeah, he went Acid Rampage, so he has elemental damage with Acid, obviously. Let's see. Yeah, we took Master Shapeshifter. All the physical ability adjustments are modified by +4, so... Anytime, for example, he uses, let's say... I don't know. Let's say he uses Earth Elemental again. He's going to get a +4 to Strength, Dexterity, and Constitution, I think? Or it's just a +4 to any size bonuses. that he receives from that.
Adventures await.
Anyways, that's Beastman sorted. Now we have Triclops, who's a bit of a spellcaster, bit of not. I shouldn't need to worry too much about what he does, but I should definitely consider something benefiting him. Let's see. Thundering Blows would allow him to get some sonic damage, in his attacks at least. Every turn, so long as you make at least one melee attack, you gain stacking +2 bonus. Damage bonus. Nah. Last Stand, no. I could go Inspirational Leader. It would increase our initiative, saving throws against mind affecting, and concentration. But I shouldn't need to do that. Let's see. Enforced Vigor. Every time you damage an ally. No. Enduring Spell. We don't need that. Emergency Help is a decent one if we're looking to heal, but we don't need to. Cleaving Shots, no. Natural attacks now ignore all damage reduction except N untyped. Okay, Boundless Healing, no. Battle Meditation. Honestly, I think Abundant Casting's the better cost here. Or the better choice. Although, Always a Chance is pretty good as well. It really depends. I can go with anything on Triclops, to be honest. Anything would fit him, but I think more spells would certainly do him a wonder. Because, well, Abundant Casting just does it for him quite a bit. Archmage Armor is also nice. I don't know. There's a plethora of things I can decide on, but I digress. Let's see. Honestly, I think Elemental Barrage is the go-to. But, let's see. Yeah, no, we got an Elven Curved Blade, which is not dealing elemental damage to begin with, so... We gotta choose something that's going to make sense, so... Yeah, I think we go for the mischance, so we're gonna go for Thundering Blows. Once per round, when your melee attack misses the target, you deal 2d6 plus 1d6 per 2 mythic ranks. That is a big hit there. And now finally Trapjaw, who is always going to most likely hit. We just need to guarantee that he's going to be dealing significant damage anytime he does so. Let's see. Okay. Bleeding Strike. Every time you hit a target in melee combat, you leave a mark on it. Any ally attacking the marked target deals additional divine damage equal to d6 per your mythic rank to the target, consuming the mark. Only one ally can leave a mark on the target at a time. Other allies with Leading Strike ability do not deal additional damage to a marked target. Okay, so I think we go for Leading Strike here. It may seem like an odd choice, but because of our character here with our rogue abilities, he is going to always hit, most likely, with his Vital Strike shenanigans. And because he's a rowdy rogue, that's only going to make it much worse for any sub-damage that comes into play. So basically, he's going to wail on the enemy and cause a ruckus, a significant one, nonetheless. Alright, we're going to do a save here. Well, we'll save later, but for now, let's collect all, and let's return. After having decided all of our abilities. To a degree, anyways.
Make way. Warrior Queen coming through with a round for the heroes. Whoa, the heart is packed. Have you considered mixing this little shindig, Beth?
When Anivia reaches the long table your party is gathered around, she heavily flops on the bench and hands out the tankards of beer.
I did consider it, and I am still considering it. It hasn't even been a week since the last demon was booted out of Kenabres, and we really should be in a period of mourning for all the city's fallen. But the people deserve to celebrate. and he deserves to be honored for saving the city and possibly all of Mendev.
Irbeth sighs at the situation around them. If you want to heap more praises on me, don't hold back.
Now that's how you celebrate your achievements.
Anivia toasts you with her tankard.
According to the Watch reports, there has been no demon activity whatsoever outside Kenabres. I get the feeling the fiends are as shocked by what happened as we are. What happened in the garrison, what you did, it was a miracle. I truly believe that the gods remembered us and decided to intervene.
Irbeth rubs her forehead pensively at the thought.
Beth, come on, you agreed. No serious business today.
All right, I'm done. No more. Who would have thought we'd be celebrating a successful attack on the Grey Garrison, our own fortress, and that we'd blow the roof off the place?
It's simply unforgivable.
Comes a cheerful voice of someone sitting at the far corner of the table.
While we're on the topic of the roof, there's already a rumor going around that you have been blessed by Iomade herself. And it was her power granted to you that destroyed the garrison's walls and roof. And it turns out the people want a little piece of that blessing for themselves. The townsfolk are gathering chunks of the garrison's rubble as souvenirs and talismans. And I'm sure they'll hit the black market soon enough. Oh, yeah. Here, read on this for me. For good luck.
Oh, drop it, Anivia. I'm not a messenger sent by the gods.
People who aren't divine messengers don't usually go around taking whole stories off of buildings and blowing packs of demons away. But if that's how you want to play it, then fine. I'm still keeping my stone, though.
Nevi! What are you on about now?
Irbeth mutters to herself.
What do you mean? Do you see many people at this table who've been personally blessed by Iomade herself?
Well, a couple perhaps.
Says the same mirthful voice that joined in before.
Iomade's blessings are not conveyed through stones, and as public officials, we really shouldn't.
Irbeth looks at the end of the table where the voice originated, and her eyes widen as her words trail off.
I feel a little chastened after what you said about public officials. But I myself have acquired a few pieces of stone and also wish to ask our hero to breathe on them for good luck. So, what now? Are you going to toss me out of this fine establishment?
The woman dressed in unshowy finery raises her eyebrows.
Your Majesty.
Yes, it is I. I made the journey here to deduct the cost of repairing the garrison roof from your salary. We have not been introduced. Galfrey of Mendev.
The woman rises from her seat, approaches you, and holds out her hand. The queen has graced us with her presence.
As you can see, yes, I am here.
The queen notices your act of disrespect, but passes no comment, only quirking her brow and giving the tiniest of smiles.
Your Majesty, we were just... I'll have them arrange.
Irbeth, finally recovering from the shock, bolts to her feet.
Calm yourself, Commander. I deliberately came here without any fanfare because I did not wish to draw attention away from our honored hero here. My personal guard and the force I brought with me are standing watch outside the city. I ordered all your sentries to stand down. They also deserve a break. Every person who tirelessly fought to save Kenabres will enjoy themselves today. And my reinforcements will ensure peace and order.
Will you join our celebration, Your Majesty?
Please, don't Your Majesty me. We are in a tavern, not my court in Nerosian. Address me as you would any comrade in arms. Concerning the celebration, as you can see, I already invited myself. I couldn't pass up the chance to meet the new hero all the crusaders are talking about. And soon, not just crusaders.
Well, we all need to get some rest.
Because grand new deeds lie ahead, yes?
Your Majesty, my dear cousin.
Count, I admit I was surprised to learn that you valiantly joined the ranks of the city's defenders. Pleasantly surprised.
I live to please you, my queen. My first thought when Daskari cruelly robbed us of noble Terendelev and half of Kenabres' crusaders in one fell swoop was of you, my queen, and of how these events would weigh heavily on you. No one could have foreseen the demon attack, and we have so successfully held the defense here for 4 heroic crusades.
I'm going to drown him in the nearest well this very night.
Irbeth mutters the last bit, however.
I value your dedication and your eloquence. I hope you will continue to aid our soldiers.
Not a chance. You know that I am not made for the front lines. Excellent bash, but alas, I really must go. Important matters to be getting on with. A new shipment of wine from Keonin, and 3 beautiful creatures of the same provenance. But I will most assuredly come to say my farewells before your army departs on its campaign, which, wherever it may lead you, will undoubtedly be crowned with victory.
I shall hold you to that, Count. And now allow me to devote some time to the hero of the evening. I did not come here solely to give you this chance to celebrate, but all serious discussions and official announcements can wait until tomorrow. I have big plans for all of you, especially for you. But I want to keep you in suspense for a little while longer, so I shan't say another word. Let us mark this victory. My first toast is to you, the hero of Kenabres. Now, what are we drinking?
The queen smiles archly as she explains herself.
The fires of Kenabres have died down. Now the army's path leads to the walls of Dresden, a fallen citadel that the crusaders have been trying in vain to reclaim for 70 years. The new piece on the board might give their efforts some added momentum.
Rise, warriors. Today is a day of sorrow and pride. Sorrow because we weep for our brothers and sisters who perished in Kenabres. Pride because despite demonic treachery, our heroes repelled the attack and saved the city. I, Queen Galfrey of Mendev, declare this day the first day of the 5th Crusade. And I am glad to introduce the one who will lead the attack on the forces of the Abyss. The hero of Kenabres, Knight Commander of the 5th Crusade. Your leader from now unto victory or death. And now it's time to rest. Everyone is dismissed. There. The troop review is finished. I'll give you some time to look around the camp, and then I shall expect your presence at headquarters.
Alright. And now that is, yeah, we've been declared a general for the 5th Crusade to begin with. Alright. Now let's investigate. Alright, the quartermaster, Wilser Garms. Hello, Orgus. Okay. The burly soldier with an impressive beard greets you with a broad smile. Well, Sir Garms, the champ quartermaster, at your service. How can I be of help? Tell me about yourself. The quartermaster looks away sheepishly. Well, there isn't much to tell, really. I was born in Kenabres in a humble family. I got an education, taught myself to read and write, got drafted into the army, spent 3 years as a shield bearer in the first line. I left after I did my time and joined the Stonemasons Guild. Then moved on to the shipwrights and rose to a crew chief. Sailed by Iobaria twice and returned with goods. Made some money, built a house, but I haven't started a family yet. I think I will after we're done with this war. But a few years ago, something started gnawing at me. I got the feeling like I needed to go home, that there was a storm headed for my native city. And when there's trouble in Mendev, there's only one thing to do. You go to the recruiter and sign up for the army. And so I did. At first, they wanted to make me an infantry sergeant, but then they decided I'd be better fit in the supply department. I can take care of the army property, and I'm pretty handy around the warehouse. Not to mention I know how to manage a band of helpers. And so that's how I became the quartermaster. Wilster gives you a shy smile and shrugs, as if this were a wholly unremarkable story, typical of any crusader. What are your duties in that camp? A little bit of everything. What's an officer to a soldier? A strict father. So what does this make a quartermaster like myself? Something like their mum, that's what. I make sure the lads have everything they need to defeat the enemy and come back from the battle in one piece. Wilster starts tickling off his fingers. That means food, firewood, medicine, tents, mended clothes, fixed weapons. The horses have got to be fed and watered, the camp's got to be fortified by the evening and broken up by the morning. I make sure the wages are paid on time and the wagon wheels don't squeak. And then there are the reports. Gods, until you've asked, I never realized how many duties I actually had. What did the soldiers think of the new commander? They mostly tell tales about your unusual power, but they don't shy away from talking about you as a person too. Soldiers are always like that. If Iomedae herself descended from heaven, you bet they jabber on about how she grips her sword and how good she looks in her armor. Word is that you possess some special magic and know spells that no one's ever seen in Mendev before. People say you can do all sorts of stunts, turn into a dragon, throw lightning bolts, fly across the sky, and that you specialize in one spell that lets you carouse and make love all night, long without ever flagging. I don't know where they got the last one from, to be honest. You'd think they weren't righteous warriors alike, but common soldiers. Ha! Wilster says with a genial smile. Show me what you have. Alright. It was a long time coming, but we're going to sell absolutely everything here. Probably don't need to, but we're going to. Because obviously we don't need all this stuff. For more than one reason. Okay, we're going to keep the Cloak of Resistance. We're going to keep the Amulet. We don't need the Scroll Kit 3, 2, and 1. We also don't need the Alchemist Kit 2 and 1. Because such things are useless to us, now that I've come to realize it. Do we need anything? Well, bulk sell just to be sure that we don't need anything here. There we go. Still not sure how I got this severed head, but I guess that's something. Yeah, we have no idea where that came from, so that's a bit concerning. It appears we've been given a search bar, so that's nice. There we go. Alright. Now for weapons. We are not going to be using size. We're not going to be using the blocker here. We don't plan on using flails. We're not going to be using warhammers. Dwarven war axe is also not in the list. Bulky pickaxe, nope. Heavy flail, no. We don't use daggers, I don't think, do we? No, we use two-handed weapons, so we're going to sell the dagger. We're going to sell Maladi here. And the falchion? I don't think anybody uses the falchion, so yeah. Yeah, Beastman uses claws. Merman uses a trident. Triclops has the elven curved blade. We've got the glaive and crossbow. So yeah, we don't need the falchion. We don't need the armor either, so we're fine on that. But we do get a ton of materials, though, to work with, at least. Whenever the wielder of this +2 spiked heavy shield uses it for a shield bash, it behaves like a vicious weapon. Interesting. I don't need that, then. Flowing scales. +2 medium armor, scale mail, specifically. Okay, that's 10% chance of miss due to concealment. Okay, interesting. Let's see, weapons. Let's go by price in descending order, naturally. Okay, we got Relentless Assault, which is an interesting one. +3 Dwarven War Axe that... let's see. Whenever they confirm a critical hit with the second weapon in another hand, they also make an additional attack with the second weapon. Okay, interesting. Nimble as Stalk is interesting, but not needed. Wild Sweep. This is a very interesting weapon and very useful if you're looking to use a scythe. Mainly because it's going to hit every adjacent enemy, so it's basically like a advanced version of Cleave, essentially. Great for clearing out enemies in abundance, so something to consider. Falcata we don't need. Ruse is interesting but not necessary. We don't use a scimitar. We do have a long spear here, which is interesting. But nothing really appeals to me currently. Yeah, there's light mace, greatsword, composite weapons, falchions. Nothing too spectacular that I want. I guess we could grab the trident, because we do need it for our good merman buddy here. So the trident is a viable option. Do we have any other options for tridents? I guess not, so... Yeah, we're going to probably swap over to the +1 trident. If we can, I'd like to get it to be cold iron, but I don't think we're going to get that lucky, so... You know what? No, let's keep the cold iron trident, because that's going to affect demons much better. Okay. Let's see, cold iron curved blade. There's probably not going to be a elven curved blade here that's cold iron, so we'll ignore that. We've got the dark horn, which is already enchanted, so we don't need that. Alright, armor. How about we go with that? Okay, Dawn of Life. +3 tower shield, weighs twice as much as usual, and limits the wielder's speed to 20 feet. Whenever the wielder receives a critical hit, they are healed for an amount of HP equal to the number of their hit die. Interesting. There's Adamantine Banded Mail, there's Adamantine Full Plate +1, which is pretty cool. So we could grab a +1 full plate if we wish, but that's pretty expensive, I must admit. There's Mithril Chain Shirts, if we so desire. Mithril Chain Mail is also an option. We've also got Mithril Bliss Plates. Normal full plate is also an option, I suppose. But not necessarily a need. Let's see. Well, we already got a adamantine full plate, so I guess we can go with a normal full plate here. It only costs 2,500 gold after all. Let's see. Anybody else can use this? No. Yeah, so we're going to get one of those. Let's see. Flowing Scales. Flowing Scales is probably the best used on Beastman. That's only because he can wear scale mail. He is a strength-based warrior, though, so that's something to keep in mind as we go with choices here. There is studded leather, but I don't think I want that. Yeah, I think we go with Flowing Scales because it has a higher AC, and it'll give us a 10% mischance, so we'll grab that. It's a bit of an expensive buy, but whatever. I'd rather an expensive buy than something that's gonna buckle real quick. As for weapons, we should probably get Evelyn something better. Probably a crossbow, something light or heavy. Let's go for a heavy crossbow, I guess. Yeah. +1 heavy crossbow deals a d10 +1. Yeah, that's probably going to be for the best. We'll grab that, just so she has a better weapon. And let's see, miscellaneous items. These bracers grant their wearer a +2 competence bonus to AC, attack, and damage rolls against flying enemies. Intriguing. Whenever the wearer of this amulet declares a night challenge, deal 3 additional damage against a challenged enemy, rather. Amulet of Mighty Fists, +1 to attack and damage rolls with unarmed and natural weapons. If the wearer has the Finesse feat, the amulet allows her to apply Dexterity in place of Strength to damage rolls. Lesser Gloves of Dueling. It's okay. Good if you're got the weapon training ability. No, instead we're just going to grab the Ring of Protection +2, I think? Or the amulet... No, we'll grab the Amulet of Mighty Fists, because that will help with Beastman. Okay, we've got nothing else of interest, so we're just going to buy with that, and off we go. Alright. Okay, weapon-wise, we are going to keep the light crossbow of Oracle's Misery. We will swap out for the heavy crossbow here. There we go, +6. Armor-wise, we are going to get the full plate instead of half plate. Flowing Scales is going to be replaced with Unbending Armor. We are also going to equip the Amulet of Mighty Fists. Alright. Armor is looking pretty nice so far. Okay, now how do we want to do the rest? Let's see. Well, Amulet of Natural Armor is going to be a thing we focus on. We're going to replace this there. That way Trapjaw is a bit more defensive. We got a Cloak of Resistance +2. We're going to keep the Stealth Cloak, though, for Trapjaw. Let's see. +2 resistance. I am most worried about Panther here, I do believe. Yeah, we'll give Panther this. Okay. Panther currently is dealing 1d6 +4. Character, let's see. Okay, deity selection, yeah. Can't select the deity because animal companion, obviously. But with the intelligence of 3, that's actually going to help a lot with Panther, but I digress. Okay. Panther, we're going to just keep you with the Amulet of Agile Fist because we do buff you with Mage Armor. As for the Amulet of Natural Armor, we'll just give it to Skeletor because we're not going to be buffing the casters as much, so we'll keep that in mind. Anyways, that is our setup for now, until we decide what else we're going to buy. Okay, where do we go next? I guess the best course of action is just to loot the camp. It's not like we're going to be scolded for doing so, so yeah. Just milk out everything we can. Hello, Daeran. Ah, there you are, my dashing troublemaker, you. Daeran flashes you a self-satisfied smile. Our short acquaintance is coming to an end. Very soon you will depart on your crusade, where you'll scrape by on horrible rations, struggle vainly to fall asleep amidst the snoring soldiers, be rudely awoken by the freezing cold, and have to look upon their dour faces of the self-righteous prigs. Before you finally perish in the maw of some demon, I have a journey ahead of me too. I just rented a sailboat in the south. I've also hired an excellent chef and a host of other entertainments. Well, to each their own, I suppose. Daeran pauses and suddenly adds in a more serious voice. You know, I am genuinely sad to see you go. If it sounds like mockery, forgive me. I cannot switch my venom gland on a whim, you see, but you intrigue me. If only we could have spent a little more time together. But of course, Daeran grimaces. Not under these circumstances. Let the Crusaders and their demons have each other. With any luck, they'll take this either sanctimonious spectacle down with them. If you feel you don't belong here, go. But I'd like to see you again someday in the future, to get to know you better. You can throw a banquet for me to celebrate our victory in Dresden. What do you say? Victory to Dresden! Your optimism is charming. Daeran smirks, then seems to start slightly. He continues in a more even tone. Well, should you prove lucky enough to survive, by some miracle, come and find me. Perhaps I shall even remember you. No promises, though. In any case, I intended to wait until the army departs. I do love a good send-off, especially when it is I who is staying and someone else who is heading off to meet a dreary and hopeless end. Sometimes it does one good to ruminate on the unfairness of life. Well then, farewell, Commander. I assume I shall be your most precious memory on this most disgusting and exhausting road to the pointless slaughter of battle. Or if you're not the most precious memory, then at least the most stirring. Daeran smirks before instantly losing all interest in you. Or at least he pretends to. Alright, take care, man. Okay, let's go in here. This is Nura Dwinlar's tent. It seems she's brought a lot of things along with her.
This way.
Okay. Okay, interesting. What about this? Info? Okay, what's in here? We got Alchemist Fire. Interesting. On Nature Divine. Okay.
Wherever my legs carry me.
There's some spells in here, with Expeditious Retreat as one of them. Interesting. Alright, let's go outside. Let's see what else there is. Okay, we got the Storyteller, Crusader Wizard, and Nina. The old elf smiles when he hears your footsteps. Allow me to congratulate you on your victory, and on acquiring mythical powers capable of casting down the strongest demons. I got the page you were looking for from the Grey Garrison. The Storyteller carefully takes the pages from your hands. His fingers touch the ancient letters gently, examining them lightly, following their lines. I see myself, young, energetic, able to see. Oh gods, have I found a key to my past? Finally, I'll be able to find out with my own mind what's been hiding from me. The elf's expression becomes withdrawn. The wrinkles on his face soften. Thank you, Skeletor, and please, follow me to my story. Let us embark on this journey together. The Storyteller inhales sharply a few times and begins his story. They are leaving, the people of Keonan faced with the coming Earthfall, and admitted that they were incapable of handling this disaster. Proud rulers, artful crafters, brave warriors, wise mages, and skilled healers, all of them hurry to the gate of Sovereign, looking around fearfully. A clean, safe world is waiting for them there. My people decided not to fight for Galarian. I'm ashamed, and I'm sorry for them. Their hearts wavered in the face of the catastrophe, but my will is strong, and I'm staying. My kinfolk are looking at me angrily. How dare I diminish their decision with my recklessness? My choice makes them cowards, traitors of their own home. One of them, my former mentor, looks at me bitterly. He hands me a neat notebook with a tree bark cover. In case you change your mind. Oh. God dang it. Well, I kinda sad that I skipped that, but okay, misclick. It is time for me to go too. I open my master's notebook. There are his notes about traveling between worlds. In case you change your mind, he hopes the burden I shouldered voluntarily would be too much. I will lose heart and find my way to Sovereign. That will never happen. My mouth set stubbornly. I tear my master's notebook to pieces. I use my forced pride as a shield against my fear from what's to come. Why did the elves decide to flee, not fight? The Storyteller's lips purse with disdain. They are afraid to lose what they have. They were rulers, long-lived and powerful. They valued their lives, and sunshine too much to enter the fight with the aftermath of Earthfall. Your mentor is a mage. Then you must be too, yes? Yes, I'm an archmage, and this title is well deserved. I have acquired delicate mastery and succeeded in many areas of magic. But my curiosity has always pushed me towards new knowledge since the first day of my apprenticeship. What is the Saurian Stone? A magnificent crystal bent into an arc by a mighty hand of an ancient divine creator. Our great gate to other worlds. It breathes power. It dreams of eternity. Why are you angry at your fellow elves? I spent many hundreds of years in Keonan. I had always admired the way my kinfolk cared for the forest that was our home. But the rest of the world seemed to mean nothing to them. But I love Golarion, all its places, all the forms it manifests in. I traveled widely, then came home and told my kinsfolk about my travels. But they weren't intrigued. They only cared about Keonan. Their lack of desire to hear about the wider world made me sad and angry. What happened next? Earthfall happened at night. I am standing at the top of my tower, many miles to the north of Keonan, and I see a blaze far into the south. I hear a horrendous rumble. The air is groaning, giving way to huge rock, rushing down on my world. And then, a blow. Vibration that penetrates everything, reaching down to the bowels of Golarion, and up into the vaults of the sky. Crushing bones, blood. Blood from burst vessels, filling my eyes with darkness. What the heck was that? Whatever. Blood, okay, filling my eyes. Drowning in timelessness, along with countless denizens of Golarion. Never before have we been so united in our feelings. When I come round, the darkness remains. My first terrible thought, I'm blind. But no, little by little I begin to see the stone wall. I'm alive, but why is it so dark? The answer is quick. The smell of ash everywhere. The great burnt sacrifice fills the air with incinerated particles of what was recently the continent of Aslant. Great clouds of ash covered the sky, cutting us off from the sun and the moon, dooming us to dusk at day and complete darkness at night. My heart sinks with fear. Treacherous thoughts fill my mind. Why did I stay? Why didn't I run like everyone else when I had the chance? I clench my teeth and stand up to watch Earthfall, proudly like the last Archmage of Keonan should. Will my world really perish like this? Will I perish? No, that will never happen. I am still alive and I can fight the Earthfall and the darkness. Not run from it in a blind panic like my kinfolk and my cowardly teacher. But what can I do? I will not stop the disaster. I will hardly be able to save empires from their destruction. What can I do? I am but one Archmage, powerful and weak at the same time. What is Earthfall? A disaster of untold proportions, an unborn planet dropped on Golarion by blind fate or someone's evil will. A blow so strong that the continent of Aslant is destroyed within moments, turning it to ashes. Wiped off the face of Golarion. In this burnt sacrifice, clouds of ash and dust were born, stealing our sun. Without the warmth of our star, the air cools, the soil is barren, and dark creatures crawl out their layers to rule. And the most frightening thing, without the sun, all hope dies in the heart. This is the age of darkness. What was that tower you mentioned? It is my retreat to the north of Keonan, my home away from home, my observatory. From its top I watched the stars, and when they were correctly aligned, the other worlds as well. Here in the northern wastelands, I found the highest mountain and built a tower on top of it. On clear days I could see the mist over the lake of mists and veils in the east. That's how high I was. What are you going to do next? I don't know. I need to think. My opponent, Earthfall, is much stronger than me. Without noticing, the storyteller raises his voice to a shout. It is merciless. It does not simply destroy life, it kills an era, ending the greatness of Galarian civilizations. They will sink into oblivion, be forgotten, as if they never existed. I need to think. The elf suddenly winces and is silent for a few moments as he calms his heavy breathing. Forgive me. I shouldn't have raised my voice. This story was much harder than many before it, most likely because I played the main role in it. It is so strange to see myself, feel the emotions tearing me up inside. Those that I felt a long time ago, and not remembering them. It's like I split. I became both the storyteller and the main character. Too bad the story ended at that moment. Please, if you find other pages covered with ancient elven writings on your travels, bring them to me. I might be able to shed some light on my past and will be able to find out how my story ended, and perhaps even why I forgot it. Alright. We've already gone through this conversation, so I'm just going to quickly shoot through it. I'm just making sure we got it. Alright. Okay, please examine the items, because it's been a while. Let's give you the broken buckle and the necessary materials. Restore this relic for me. The elf cautiously uncorks the vials and begins his enchantments. The essence evaporates, turning into light that streams into the buckle. The light thickens, becoming gold. The Covenant of the Inheritor. That is the name of this relic. This buckle once adorned the belt of a glorious knight from Mendev. It is an embodiment of a promise made to a young girl by a powerful deity. A great promise that has changed much in the world. With the touch of the restored relic, a strange vision comes to you. It is as if you see the events that happened to it in the past. A burning sensation spreads across your chest from the very spot where your mysterious wound sometimes opens. What is this? The influence of the storyteller's spells, or is it something else? The storyteller doesn't say a word either, seemingly lost in his own thoughts. Tell me about its previous owner, the stone knife. The storyteller touches the knife, his fingers clamping around the hilt with a hungry, masterful grip. His face contorts into an evil grimace, his voice disgustingly raspy. I've actually been through this conversation, so I'm going to quickly speed through it. Okay. What do you see in the past of current Radiance? The storyteller touches the blade with his finger. Sadness rings in his voice. Dresden is doomed. Demons attack right when we lost the protection of the Sword of Valor. My city, my bastion of hope. We built you as a symbol that the lands mutilated by the Abyss would still be restored to mortals. Now you are perishing, and there is nothing I can do. We retreat. No, we flee. A frightened crowd rushes out into the night. The southern gate. They are chased by angry howls of demons, and the last defenders of the citadel. My heart goes out to them. But I'm standing still on the wall. I'm covering the retreat. Demons do not attack. They seethe around you, fall from the sky, strike from all sides at once. They cannot be stopped, but they can be distracted. I run to the upper floor of the gate tower. Radiance glows with a golden light in my hands. I permit myself to close my eyes just for one heartbeat. I imagine that the soft glimmering of the sword I see through my closed eyelids is the light of the summer sun. I smile. I open my eyes and call out, "Hey, Discari spawn. Who wants the best trophy of the night? You know my name, Yaniel. You know how many you and I have killed this very hand. You want to curry favor with Drazenand, Minago, or the echo of your lord? Bring them my head, if you can. Roaring and screaming, they rush towards me in a wave at the foreign bodies and unfurled wings. The wave crashes against me, splattering my arm with bloody froth. Broken wings and chopped up bodies plummet to the foot of the tower. In the heat of battle, I see Jorn's pale face down there. He looks up at me in desperation, but I can't help it. He's carrying 2 wounded on his shoulder. My city will fall, but my friends will survive. This is what I'm fighting for. I am covering the retreat. The flow of fleeing people gradually dwindles. My armor is broken in many places and I cannot heal my wounds anymore. The last demon I stabbed with radiance suddenly recoils, tearing the handle out of my blood-slickened hands. He flies up, but falls somewhere far behind the walls, by the road being taken by those fleeing. No more golden glow in my hands. The night closes in on me, filled with shrieking, mocking demon laughter. Dresden, I'm dying with you. Light of the sword, righteous Iode, accept my soul. The storyteller runs his hand along the blade with a sad smile. I know whose memory this is. I've heard about her so many times. Yaniel was a true crusader. Touching her memories is so cleansing. Do you see the future of the sword? Just one of the numerous possibilities. The blind elf touches the sword hilt, and metal rings in his voice. I slide out the sheath swiftly. I proudly watch as the army of warriors led by my lord. I sing, slashing the air, putting courage in the hearts. I am radiance. Tremble, city of Dresden. My lady Yaniel has perished, but I am not dead yet. Charge! The storyteller returns the sword to you. It's nice to know that this sword's glory days are not over. It has many battles ahead. Take care of it. It is a glorious sword. Before I go any further, I need to check up something on the Radiance, so give me a second. Because this might be important for whether the story with Radiance continues or not. Okay, let's see. Alright, we've acquired Radiance. Let's see. Talk to him in Dresden's citadel during the siege. Okay. And show... Okay. So I am in the right path. Okay, good. Tell me about Terendelev. Oh, before I say, I just wanted to confirm something story-wise. I'm good. I can still upgrade Radiance. I was just worried I wouldn't be able to. I thought I had to get the sheath, but I digress. Yeah, I should be good. The storyteller takes a deep breath and smiles. I am flying. I can finally spread my wings. I am gliding over a broad river. The sunset has turned its surface smooth like a mirror, and I see my reflection. It is as if another silver dragon is rising to meet me from the depths. But what is it? The scales on my chest are black, and the darkness is spreading over my body. I wake up. A clear sky sways above me, blazing with heat. I am in human form. The red dust of the wound clings to my cracked lips. Someone is carrying me on a stretcher made of the shield and spears. I'm so weak. I can barely lift my hand to my face. The sight of my own hand terrifies me. It is black and the skin glistens like scales melted by fire. I probably ought to cry, but I only feel hatred and nausea. All these people around me, out of sympathy for them, did I choose to leave the mountains. I gave up my flights over rivers. I went to the demon's lair. They don't have a scratch on them, but I am infected with foulness. It's not fair. My life is more precious than their pathetic existence. Oh wow, I hate them in this moment. And then I suddenly feel shame. No, no! These are not my thoughts. The crusaders carrying me are my good friends. I'm glad they did not suffer. But I hate them as much as myself so much. Pain and hatred pierce me all at once. It's all because of them. All because of them. Someone walking beside me touches me, talks to me, but the only thing I hear is, "Your mentor, he will come, he will help." And I lose consciousness. The storyteller takes a deep breath, exiting the vision. Such hatred from Trelendrev. Wasn't she on our side? Trelendrev has come a long way. Her unit was ambushed by demons once, and she was infected with foulness. The Trelendrev you met in Kenabres has gone through many trials and regained her former purity. What happened next? The storyteller puts his hand to his forehead. Sometimes the past... Wait, hold on. Sometimes the past can be as vague as the future. We all know how Trelendrev's story ended, but the beginning is hidden from us. Maybe if you find something else that used to belong to her, we will know more about her struggle. However, no matter what we learn, remember, her soul, the soul of a true dragon, overcame every obstacle, endured every torment. She was able to purify herself, for dragons are truly powerful, not only in body, but in spirit, too. Alright. Have you decided to join the crusade? I've decided not to, I'm afraid. My path and the path of the crusade leads in the same direction, but alas, they are not yet one and the same. After the demons were driven away from Kenabres, the path into the world wound became open, if only temporary. I'm planning to use this opportunity to visit... It doesn't matter now. I'd hate to bore you with the details of my venture, which may prove useless even for myself. However, I'll try to return to the Crusaders and aid them in their confrontation with the demons after I'm done. I hope to meet you again, in this world rather than the next. Apologies, I just wanted a drink. I wish to know more about you. The old elf permits himself a faint smile. I'm not surprised. A strange, peculiar-looking elf with some unusual powers, who would come from afar and calls himself a collector of stories. Such things usually spark some interest. I will answer your questions. Who are you and where are you from? Before, I would have said that I was a blacksmith from Keonan, who lost his sight and then found his true calling in a new craft. That of a story collector. But I have lately begun to suspect those words are no more than a lie. The old elf chuckled sadly. It's quite the irony. I never thought I'd have cause to complain about my memory. It holds the stories of the entire world, but I've noticed more and more alarming signs recently. I encounter ancient stories and see myself in them. I don't remember those events, but stories cannot lie, so it means that my memory is lying, and I intend to get to the bottom of it. I'm looking for proof that my visions are true, and that the reason why my past has been hidden from me. I thought elves didn't get old. The blind man straightens his back with dignity. As you can see, we do if we manage to live for many thousands of years. There may not be a single mortal in this world older than me. The storyteller sighs and continues with a sad smile. Anyways, it's not about time. It's about the stories I keep inside. There's so much suffering and sadness in this world, and in my stories too. I've lived every one of them. I've drunk this bitter experience and accepted it in my heart. It's hard, the weight of all this suffering on my shoulders, but I wouldn't trade my burden for any other. Where did you get your strange powers? The storyteller shrugs. I always got along well with things I used to be as a blacksmith. That I know for sure. I've always felt the essence of things, their spirits. For as long as I can remember, I've always been able to feel the traces of memories, and feelings left on things by their former owners. I don't know where this gift comes from. Maybe having taken my sight, and the gods granted me another sense. How do you see into the future? I cannot say. Such visions are new to me. My instinct has always worked towards the past, not to the future. But some things change. Everything changes. So do I. Perhaps right now the stories that are yet to happen are more important than the ones that have happened already. How do you collect stories? The same way a court philandria collects his conquests. The way a healer has a personal cemetery of patients he failed to save. The way every person, including you, has a box of secrets. Most precious experiences deep down in their soul, that no one is allowed to touch. The world is not made of things or matter even. It's made of stories. They move from the past to the future, piercing our worlds at the point of here and now. They give meaning to everything. They are the meaning. And everything else is only the setting required for stories to exist. There is nothing more than a real and alive than a story. And anything real and alive can die or be destroyed, distorted, forgotten. But as long as I carry these stories with me, they will not be lost. That is why I don't often share my stories. By sharing one with you, I give you the right to tell it to others, to distort and embellish it advertently or inadvertently. How can I be sure you will keep its original purity? Stories travel from one person to another. They change, become distorted, turn into tall tales. That is why I keep stories to myself. Alright, I have to go. I wish you interesting adventures. And, because of those stories, I do believe we picked up a interesting item. Some sort of buckle, I believe? Did we get it converted into something, though? No? Did we? I feel like we should have. Okay, hold on. Maybe it's here? Let's go by price in descending order. There we go. The Covenant of the Inheritor. This symbol of Iomade, when placed on the belt, emits a holy aura. All party members within a 30-foot area gets a +2 bonus to cast level checks, made to overcome spell resistance. Their weapons become good aligned, and count if they were made from cold iron. That is really powerful, actually. And you know what? That is immediately going on one of our characters. We're going to give this to Trapjaw specifically. So everybody within a 30-foot area of effect basically gets good aligned weapons that count as cold iron. So, our weapons such as the cold iron trident are not actually needed anymore. As long as we keep that Covenant of the Inheritor on us, then we're getting a +2 to cast level checks to bypass SR, and we're getting some bonuses in addition to it. That's really nice, actually. Storyteller, Nino. Okay. Everything's looking fine and dandy so far. Quite satisfied with the results, actually. Okay, got some loot here. Got some here. Yoink. Got some recruits, crusaders. Cool. We're going to grab basically anything we can, so that is going to be worthwhile, I suppose. Okay, tons of horses, obviously. Let's see. There should be some stuff on the outskirts here, some. At least I think there is, yep. There's this. Grab those. That's more items to add to our roster, most likely. Cold Iron Masterwork Great Axe, though. That's pretty nice. Okay, we'll grab this loot here. Tier Blades tent. Here we go. Adventures of the Fearless Crusader. We'll read that and pick it up.
This way.
Okay. We grab all this. That's going to help us in the future. We're going to grab this loot here. Half plate of vigor. That's going to be interesting. I guess that's enchanted item. What is that? That is a +2 half plate that grants a +2 enchantment bonus to Constitution. That is actually really potent. It might actually be a good replacement for Merman. Yeah, let's give that to Merman so he's got a bit more HP to work with, I think. Unless we want to give it to somebody else. Yeah, it's not going to work for Beastman. Do we want to give it to Trapjaw? No, I'm still sold on the Adamantine, so we'll just replace the full plate with that. There we go. That'll at least give Merman some more defense. Well, not more defense, but at least give him more survivability, which is going to be nice. We're not going to enter the tent just yet, but we will still continue to look around. Okay, the Kenabres Knights are doing well, it seems. Good. Anything around here? Looks like there's some stuff here. Alright. We're going to enter this chapel tent here. Yeah, so if you want to worship something specific, there is religions here, if you wish. Most of it appears to be good aligned, though, so keep that in mind. Otherwise, there is just a basic generic one that you can use, but I digress. Okay. But because we are atheists, we actually don't benefit from that, I do believe. So that is a downside of being atheist, but the upside is that we get more benefits for being atheist. So it's a weird disconnect going on, essentially.
What's in wait for me there, I wonder?
Not a bad one, though. Not a bad one. Okay, in here we got the field medic, which is probably going to... Yep, it's just going to contain our healers. Hello, Camilla. Alright, Kiato and Visionary, yeah.
This way.
Okay. We won't be doing anything here, I guess. Okay, we'll read this just because we can. Here we are. A stout old man with a fuzzy gray beard greets you with a deep bow. Well met, Commander. You've caused quite the stir. Everyone thought Kenabres was done for, but the gods have other plans, it seems. That was quite the blaze over the Grey Garrison. All the vermin running out with their tails between their legs. Who are you? Viscillary Ramthanus, former rector of Kenabres Temples of Abadar, and now your humble servant. In times like these, one cannot serve the god of cities while sitting comfortably behind a city wall. You pursue a sacred cause, and I will help you in any way I can. I await your orders, Commander. Lead us onwards towards Dresden. How did you end up on the battlefield? Everyone here has a story like that, but mine is rather a boring one. Believe it or not, it was bureaucracy. When the old rector of the Kenabres Temple died, may Abadar rest his soul, the church required a replacement. I volunteered and served for 30 years without incident. I prayed, organized festivals and funerals, bought candles, sanctified water, boring, mundane things that made up the daily routine of a civilized society. But then civilized society failed, and it was time for me to go to war. Praise Abadar, who led me through the ruins of the Defender's Heart. Who's the boy with you? This one? Kiato is a shepherd, my apprentice. He's a smart boy, and the faith is strong. He serves Aras still, though, but there are still other things he can learn from the old servant of Abadar. He'll be a great cleric when he gets a little older. First, if you need a scroll with divine protection, I have a lot of them. Something for every emergency. Second, while you're at the camp, I can read any scroll for you. Guaranteed, no surprises. And you'd better not leave the camp without a cleric. I won't be going with you, so you'll need someone else who can read scrolls. Show me these scrolls. We're going to go by price in ascending order specifically. And we want to focus on the scrolls themselves. So, as you can probably guess, this guy is going to be our resident cleric. He's going to be providing us a bunch of healing. And any other, you know, things that we may need. I'm not going to be buying completely everything, but we're going to be grabbing a bunch of Cure Lights and a bunch of Inflicts, because those are going to be our healing in near future, most likely. So, we're going to want to prepare as many as we can. Mage Armor is not that big a concern, so I'm not going to grab it. But it is something we can consider. Let's see. We can grab a bunch of shield spells, which is actually really nice, because you never know when you're going to need a shield spell. And goodness knows some of our warriors might need it, so having the UMD to cast this is really nice. Alright, what else is there? There's Snowball, Stone Fist, etc. Honestly, if I can learn such things, that'd be nice. It doesn't seem like our cleric's going to be learning anything, though. Merman Spontaneous, as is Beastman and Triclops. I do believe the only learned caster we have is Evelyn, so we should probably take the time to learn these scrolls when we have the chance. We're going to get one of any unlearned scrolls we have, though we have a full roster of spells we can take advantage of. So we'll be grabbing everything we can for this. Bone Shaker, Cure Moderate, Delay Poison, False Life. What else is there? There's Inflict Moderate, we'll get Molten Orb, Pernicious Poison. And there's Resists, which we can take advantage of. Restoration, Scroll of Scare, I suppose, is a nice one. Actually, no, it's a really powerful one, yeah. All enemies within a 30-foot burst centered on a target creature within medium range get feared. Really powerful. We'll get Summon... we'll get a Summon Scroll, we'll get a Scroll of Web, and that'll be it, I do believe. There we go. We're going to open up the list, and we're going to teach Evelyn as much as we can. Copy to Spellbook, copy to Spellbook, and we're just going to repeat that. Yep, Price in Descending Order, naturally. We're just going to give Evelyn as much spells as we can to copy, because that's just going to help her in the long run. Hey, we even got Fireball, that's nice. Alright, copy that, copy this. Here we go. We got Cure Moderate, apparently. Bone Breaker is going to be nice. Okay, we got this. We got Remove Sickness. Intriguing. And we got Cure Light Wounds. We got Burning Hands now. I don't think we can learn anything else, but that's fine. Okay, let's see. Yeah, we got some 4th level spells. We've got a bunch of 3rd level spells. 2nd level spells are going to be nice, but yeah. Okay. Right, I should probably get some other things. Show me... Let's get some prep, so... What have we got currently? That should be our question. We're going to need to get Remove Paralysis, obviously, so... Price in Descending Order. Naturally. Let's see. Okay, we don't need Grease, we don't need Magics. We're going to need protections from Evil. So I'll grab those, and we'll get Protection from Chaos. Those are going to be some good staples if we ever need them, because, well... Protection from Evil and Chaos is always going to be necessary. Potions of Bless Weapon. I should probably grab those, just in case. Because those will help with dealing damage to demons and whatnot, if we ever need it. Although I guess I got the amulet, but whatever. Alright, what else can we grab? We're going to need some Scrolls of Blur, most likely. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll get 6 just to be safe. Okay, we don't need the buffs, so we'll ignore those for now. Let's see. We're good with the Cure Lights for now. We don't need to get Cure Moderates just yet. We'll save those for a later rainy day. Mirror Image is a good staple, so we should probably grab all these. There we go. Molten Orb is not a concern. We should definitely get some Communal Protection, so we'll grab all those and the Chaos. We don't need Long Good. We're going to grab We're going to grab... well, no, let's make it 18. Yeah, let's get 18 to remove paralysis. So that's going to be important. We've got resist scrolls, which are going to be important most likely, but we don't get that just yet. Let's see. Restoration Lesser is going to be a staple, so... yeah, we need 20 of those. That is just going to be naturally prepared. We already got Seed Invisibility, so we don't need to grab that again. We don't need Web again, so we're good on that. Blink is a good staple, but not necessary right now. Scroll Displacement, though. We'll grab one... well, we'll grab a few... we'll grab 4 just to be safe. And for the rest, I guess we'll just grab some Scrolls of Haste. Yeah, we just need 4 Scrolls of Haste. So we spent all our gold, but that was necessary. Because this prep is necessary in this game, otherwise you're going to suffer. But yeah, no, the prep is done there. We don't necessarily need to remove curses just yet, so I'm not going to worry about that.
Legs carry me.
A group of soldiers are talking loudly, laughing joyfully and passing around a flask. So picture this. My sword is by the fire. There's 2 goblins about to snatch it, and 3 more are digging through my tent. And I sat in the bushes, wearing my mail shirt, wondering what the blast to do. An old mercenary taught me about the mail shirt. You can't keep in armor, but it's not so bad in mail, once you get used to it. Too bad no one told me not to go into the bushes without my sword. So what did you do? What did I do? I barked like crazy. Goblins are afraid of dogs, you know. So they all went wild and started running around. I spot my sword and they spot me. So I jump over to the fire wearing nothing but my mail shirt, and I grab my sword and I yell in my big tough voice, "Oh, Inheritor, grant me the power to crush these filthy creatures." My sword shining, the goblins are screaming. I jump to attack them and they fight back, but I fought them off somehow. But ever since then, I never take a step without my weapon. Selia takes a sip from a flask. That's some story. Hey, stop. Stop gulping. Leave some for us. We've only just set off and you're already drinking. And with the Queen in the camp. Stop this at once. The knights quickly snap to attention. Selia raises the flask and says loudly, "Right you are, Commander Tearblade. We are but drinking to the Queen's health." Give me a sip too, to Her Majesty's health. Irbeth rubs her forehead with the palm of her hand. Commander, are you sure this is the right way to train your soldiers? Never mind. It's your business. Why not? Let them have some fun. A happy crusader is a dutiful crusader. Alright, but we've claimed everything here, so yeah, off we go to continue on. A well-dressed old dwarf is lecturing a motley company, shaking her ladle at them belligerently. Noticing you, she flings up her hands. Good afternoon, your commanderness. Do you remember us? We're the crew from next door theatre company. The one you saved in Kenabres back when you weren't your commanderness yet. As you can see, we've come to the campaign with you. We signed up to clean pots and mend the soldiers' clothes. Keeping up a theatre is expensive, so we all have to take side jobs. But we don't stop what we're doing. We are going to put on a play about your legendary feats. Of course, the crowd scenes are difficult. We can't find the people to play the hordes of demons, and we decided against using a ritual to summon the real demons. Luckily, we have Master Kim. He's invented a way to solve this problem using sound. We caught a pig and some piglets who ran away from the burned out village. The glum and husky half-orc mumbles softly. We put the piglets in a box and scare them a little. The sound they make is just as like an approaching demon horde. But the most important question here, of course, choosing a lead actor who will play the great Knight Commander. We have a right Barney over there, breaking a number of lances as well as a shovel, a rolling pin, and a set of back scratchers. But we just couldn't decide no matter what. Maybe you can help us. We have 2 candidates are most suited to the role. One will have the honor of conveying your heroism upon the stage, Commander. A Cyclops actor? He's completely tame, believe me. He has a few issues with articulation, but what a powerful physique. We'll make him a nice costume, wash him up, brush his hair. Truth be told, in our show, you mainly just make short heroic exclamations at the faithful moments, like onward, or we'll never give up, or my heart burns with courage. Lambkin can definitely handle the script. I'm to be played by a gnome? Not a gnome, 2 gnomes. Rubbledum and Hanfriant are twins. One of them sits on the other's shoulders and puts on a long coat so they can play tall characters. They switch places every so often, so each gets their moment of fame. And that way each only have to learn half the script. Don't you have any other actors who even vaguely resemble me? We're a small and poorly funded theater. We only have a few actors, but they're all so talented, one of a kind. I've chosen the ones that are best fit for your role. Trust my vision. I have more than a few successful plays under my belt. Alright, I've made my decision. The entire crew is looking at you, holding their breath. I'll be played by Lambkin, the Cyclops, obviously. Oh, wonderful. Sorry we took you away from all your important things heroes and commanders do. We're off to rehearsal. I mean, first we'll wash some pots, then we're off to rehearsal. Let's go, you laser lumps. Don't embarrass the old grandma now. Okay, it seems like got ourselves a nice little commander here. Or at least we got a new workings of a commander, question more so. Yeah. Apparently, yeah, Wenedug is judging the command or the recruits, so it makes sense. Yeah, it doesn't appear to be anything else beyond this, so yeah, I think we're good now. We've collected everything we need from the camp, I do believe, so we're good there. Okay. I don't think there's anything else that we need to address. We've got everything that we needed, so off to the commando's tent we go. Alright.
What's in wait for me there, I wonder?
Let's loot some things here. We got our commander's chest as well. Don't necessarily need to activate that, but I digress. We're gonna see what else is here. A bunch of loot, it seems. Oh, that's nice. And there appears to be a few nightstands that are going to... well, armor stands, I should say. Alright. Lidur, Hawkblade, Nura, and Sociel. Irbeth. Let's see. Litur. Nura. Sociel. And to Galfrey, I guess? Unless we can find somebody else here. Give me a second, let me just make sure. Me doing a double check of the camp. Alright, Woljif, Kenabres, Nino, Storyteller. Alright, Ember, Eagle Watch. Okay, we've basically explored the camp. Alright, in that case, let's see. Our journal has a bunch of things. We've got the opening of the Crusades. Unfortunately, we failed Days of Strife. Oh, I forgot to ask the priest. Oh well. Oh well. That's one failed mission, but that's fine. There was a lot of stuff that I had to cover, so that's a rip. But hey, we'll try and complete everything else beyond that. It's not the perfect play, but whatever. It's just a few bit of a missed experience, I guess. The Queen greets you with a stare. She has dropped the pompous air with which she has just announced a 5th crusade. The face of the ruler of Mendev appears calm and thoughtful. She has made her move and now awaits her opponent's reply.
Commander, I'm satisfied with the troop review, but I do not expect they will be sufficient for the task. You will have to prove yourself a shrewd leader and hire the necessary troops with the provided funds.
She quickly gets to the point.
I have chosen a target for your campaign, and that target is Dresden, our lost outpost within the World Wound. The Sword of Valor was kept there, a banner that was once carried by Iomade herself. Our greatest relic was lost when the city fell. I should make one thing clear from the start. The Sword of Valor is no mere symbol, but a powerful weapon against demons. The holiness of the banner weakens them and robs them of one of their most dangerous abilities, teleportation. A forced march to Dresden awaits you. The Sword of Valor is kept somewhere within the Citadel. The demons probably think it's a hunting trophy. Its recovery is just as important as retaking the city itself. I hope the task is clear. I'm sending 2 specialists to help you, along with the soldiers. A historian, Nura Denduar, and a cleric, Soziel Vainik.
The queen nods to the human man and a young halfling woman standing next to her.
One of the famous inquisitors of the Church of Iomade also wants to talk to you. The Honorable Leota, whom everyone calls Hawkblade.
I do not wish to keep you, Commander. The matter I must discuss with you is extremely important, but it is not directly related to the Crusade. You no doubt wish to meet your new comrades and speak with Her Majesty. Therefore, I shall leave you now, but I ask that you seek me out in the camp at your earliest convenience.
Hi! Listen, it's amazing here. It's like I'm in a ballad. There's knights in shining armor, deadly dangers, glorious feats. We are going to show those demons! I'm so tired of sitting in a library reading books about history. It's time I took part in it!
I'm glad to help our cause, Commander. If you have some time later, I'd like to speak with you further.
You'll have plenty of time to talk. You're the Knight Commander's people now, his trusted advisors and companions. Now then, will you please leave us? Irabeth, you can go too.
When we met at the Defender's Heart, I never imagined you'd make me the commander of a new crusade, of all things.
Some actions may be deemed bold, or even extreme, and beyond those, there are some you might call the Queen's last resort. I am not a simple monarch. I am at war with the Abyss, a war which has lasted over 100 years. I cannot allow myself the luxury of caution. In you, I see a chance, and I am willing to stake everything on it.
The Queen allows herself to smile.
However, you cannot blame me for putting you in charge of the crusade. I only formalized what had already happened in the hearts and minds of many. People spoke of the power that descended upon you and helped you save the Wardstones from corruption and total destruction. Word of this feat quickly spread far beyond the borders of Mendev. There was no other person who could better fit the role of Knight Commander of the 5th Crusade.
I have some questions about my mission to retake Dresden.
Of course. I shall answer.
How did the demons even manage to conquer Dresden? I assume it's from, well, a certain dwarf.
That's a good question. Its walls were built by dwarf craftsmen, and the power of the Sword of Valor protected the city. Alas, where raging hordes failed, a single lying tongue was all they needed to succeed. The demoness Minago convinced a young and ambitious crusader named Staunton Vane that the banner belonged on the battlefield. He went on a daring and unapproved raid, and the banner ended up in the enemy's hands. The city fell soon after. Ever since then, for 7 decades, it has served as a citadel for the forces of the Abyss.
Staunton Varn. I saw him at the Grey Garrison. He defected to the demon side.
Oh, really? I wasn't informed of this. After Dresden fell because of Staunton, he was nearly sentenced to death. He deserved it. In wartime, men are hanged for far less. But you have no idea what a terrible sight it is. A raging crowd of crusaders baying for blood. Never have my fighters looked so much like the demons we are fighting. I commuted Staunton's sentence and stripped him of his rank. Not just for him, but for my army and my country. We are not Hell Knights. We do not maintain discipline with public executions.
I can't believe no one decided to punish him unofficially.
Not in my army. I know all too well that the armies of some kingdoms tolerate humiliation, beatings, and even murder. Their commanders imagine it brings their soldiers together and enforces discipline. Anyone who tries to introduce such rules in Mendev will face a tribunal, along with anyone who tries to shield them, even upper command.
What forces are at my disposal?
Everyone we saw today at the parade. First among them, the Eagle Watch, who remain a powerful force thanks to Irabeth's resourcefulness. Also marching with you are several minor knightly orders, as the minor volunteer units like to be called. And finally, I have personally selected some recruits from Nerosian. They have little in the way of battle experience, but great determination and a thirst to prove themselves. I've always thought that an army benefits from at least one such unit. These forces, as I said, are not enough for a march on Dresden. You will have to hire additional troops with the funds that have been provided to you. But for a brave commander, and I hope you are one, that is just the beginning. If you retake Dresden, recover the holy power of the Sword of Valor, and gain a foothold in the region, then new armies will join under your banner. The Fifth Crusade is only beginning. Many battles and victories lie ahead.
It's been decades, and no one has been able to retake the city. Why do you think we are different?
We have a chance now that we haven't seen in decades. But it's more than that. You created this chance for us by foiling the demon's plans in Kenabres. The army who attacked the city came straight from Dresden. Demon hordes from the Abyss are usually encamped there, but many of them perished on the streets of Kenabres. We must attack swiftly, before they can restore their forces. When the city is free and the Sword of Valor appears before our soldiers, they won't be sending in any more reinforcements. Demons cannot teleport into an area protected by the banner of the goddess.
Alright, then how about long-term goals? Do you know how to get rid of the world wound forever?
Now you are talking like a real knight commander. However, answering your question is not easy. To win this war, we must bar the demon's way. There are a few planar rifts leading to the Abyss across the territory we call the World Wound. The best specialists we could find have tried to close them on separate occasions, with no success, as you may have guessed. The World Wound is more than just a chain of portals to the Abyss. We do not understand its nature yet. The methods of rift closure known to magical science simply do not work here. However, we have a hypothesis, and a rather well-grounded one, that we must begin at the source of the problem, the place where the World Wound was opened. The main rift lies through the city of Iz, and the Threshold Fortress, deep in the former lands of Socorus. We have never managed to fight our way so far, and gain a foothold to allow the mages to explore the origins of the World Wound. So, the next step, after you succeed in Dresden, is an offensive push deeper into the World Wound, with the aim of reaching Threshold. The very threshold of the Abyss.
I have no more questions.
Wonderful.
Did you know that the souls of the angels from heaven are confined into Wardstone?
I had guessed as much. Many angels fought alongside us in the First Crusade. Heaven was unable to mobilize its full might to aid us, but individual celestials volunteered to fight for our cause. Then one day, they all vanished, saying that they were setting off on an important mission. Not long after, Iomede's herald erected the first wardstone in Kenabres, and then the others in cities across Mendev. Even back then, I had nagging doubts, but my faith in Iomede easily assuaged them. It is for us to serve the goddess after all, not to question her works.
A furrow forms in the Queen's brow to begin with.
In any case, I am glad you did not allow the demons to commit sacrilege and gain control over the wardstone in Kenabres. We might have lost one of the ward stones, but the chain is still standing.
You should know I received an unusual gift in caves beneath Kenabres. In the vision, I saw the death of an angel called Lariel. Somehow, he was able to grant me the ability to reveal the light of heaven.
Lariel. I knew him. He disappeared shortly before the world wound grew, and Dresden fell into the enemy's hands. In the chaos, we had more important concerns than investigating the fate of a single angel. Even one so righteous and beloved as Lariel. And afterward, matters took a turn for the worse. The angels left us to go on their special mission. It is so strange to hear the names I used to hear when I was young, like getting a message from the past. It is sad news, but it brings me back to the times when we strongly believed in our victory, and we rushed headlong toward it without fear. Could it be that such times have come again?
A smile, kind and sad, crosses the Queen's face. How about this? Do you remember this? As we show the covenant of the Inheritor.
This. I thought this relic was destroyed many years ago. How strange it is to see it whole again. At one time, it gave me hope. I am pleased that this object will serve the crusade once more.
The Queen's eyebrows shoot up in surprise. Queen Galfrey's hand twitches as if trying to reach for the relic of its own accord, but the Queen stills its movement. I had a vision of Iomade giving her covenant to you.
I was young, and did not fully understand the magnitude of the duty that had been entrusted to me. Iomade gave me hope and strength to see me through the trials ahead, and in so doing, she won my everlasting loyalty.
The Queen's lips flatten in a hard line. Do you remember the oath you swore in battle then?
Always. No matter how arduous, no matter how dark the skies, no matter how much blood flows from my wounds, I shall stand with you. We shall fight for our loved ones and our friends, for the right to live and die free. We shall do everything we possibly can, and after that, we shall begin to do the impossible. And if the hour should come when our arms can no longer raise our swords, our bodies will become a shield to cover those who still have strength to fight. I, Galfrey, Queen of Mendev, swear this to you. This is my vow.
You withstood a blow from Illyru Vorlesh in that battle.
I would proudly declare that to be true, and say that even Illyru Vorlesh could not kill me on her first attempt. But to do so would be boasting. I was protected by my goddess. However, I was glad to see that, no matter how great the betrayer of humanity's power, it is nothing as compared to Iomade's might.
Alright, now before we give the Covenant of the Inheritor to Queen Galfrey, I need to check up on something. And that will dictate how the story plays out. But, for good or ill, we'll get to see something. Let's see. You know what? I would like to keep wearing this relic.
Then so you shall. What matters is that the Covenant of the Inheritor has been recovered. Perhaps it should be in your hands now, because you have greater need of it. But should you ever feel that you no longer need this relic, I ask that you give it to me. I would be delighted to touch it again.
And what are you going to do?
Overlooking a spot of insubordination just at the moment. However, I shall answer you. I shall prepare the defenses at Nerosian and all the other border cities and plan the future of the Fifth Crusade. Does that satisfy your curiosity, Knight Commander?
Thank you for your reply.
Of course.
The task is clear.
Splendid. Ah, yes. We have one final matter to attend to. It should be rather enjoyable. Count, there you are. You received my instruction?
I did, though I did not have time to read the thing before I was dragged before your majesty. In truth, I was readying myself to depart.
No matter. I trust you will forgive your sovereign for the rather brusque summons, especially when you learn what prompted it. As you are aware, he has recently been appointed my Knight Commander of the Fifth Crusade. I spent a long while pondering whom to appoint to the highly sensitive post of Commander's Field Attaché and Advisor Plenipotentiary without portfolio. Congratulations, Count.
The Queen makes a stately gesture in your direction.
It is a great honor, I suppose.
Daeran's cool expression wavers, but he seems not to be fully cognizant of what's happening. That, or he's holding himself tightly in cheek. What a wonderful gesture, Your Majesty. I imagine our dear Count would have been inconsolable if you hadn't given him the chance to serve the common cause.
I knew you would approve, Commander.
The Queen bestows a smile on you, then brings her gaze to rest on Daeran once more.
I had my doubts about whether you were ready for such a responsibility, Count, but your conduct in Kenabres has put my mind at ease. So, you will travel with the troops to Dresden. Only the commander may remove you from your post, but I trust that you will dutifully fulfill his orders and make a good showing of yourself. Especially since word of your appointment, Count, will reach the court at any moment. All of Mendev's nobility will be following your successes in service to the nation, including all of your devoted admirers. I even heard that one bard with whom you are particularly friendly has already begun composing a ballad to honor your heroic participation in the crusade and your faithful service to the commander here.
Your largesse truly knows no bounds, dear cousin. I am most gratified by the honor you have shown me.
The Count offers a bow, either as a sign of respect or in order to hide his flushed face. Only the barest quaver can be heard from his voice.
Then let's get going. May Ayomade help us.
Welp, I guess Daeran's staying for a lot longer than we anticipated. That's good. Alright, Anevia. Anevia sweeps an inquisitive glance over to you. So tell me, straight, how'd that brawl at the Grey Garrison end? I heard rumors, of course. That's kind of my job, you know, to listen. You've no idea what cobblers the Crusaders say about you. Some say Amode came to you and appointed you her herald. Others say that you died, and an honest-to-God's angel is now leading the army disguised as you. Still, others say it was just an explosion at an alchemist's lab, and I'm the one spreading rumors about your powers. I wish. But you know, you really changed since the Grey Garrison. It's hard to describe, but you've become kinda... Anevia waves her hand, trying to find the word. More dangerous. Yeah, exactly. More dangerous. I have a gut instinct about these things. If I didn't, I'd already be dead. You're dangerous, Commander. And by Desna, I hope you be dangerous to our enemies, not to us. Or to yourself. I have to go. I do believe I have a quest in regards to you, though, don't I? Or is that to, somebody else? Hold on. Journal. Alright, make it to Dresden. While the world burns. Talk to Inquisitor Leiter as soon as possible. A farewell. Talk to Sociel. Got the opening here. Days of Strife is... Okay, we need to talk to Irabeth, not Anevia. But all the same, we should be fine. I mean, we got a lot of progress done, so that's nice. Okay. Time to see what's going on here. Okay, first we're gonna check out loot, because there's more loot to snag while we got the chance. Even if it's a small amount. Okay, let us start by doing a save here. our first save in all this time. There we go. We'll save there, and we'll talk to Litor Hawkblade. Commander, a tall man with piercing yellow-green eyes gives you a brief nod. Let me personally congratulate you on your new title, and thank you for your time in advance. I am Litor Hawkblade, an Inquisitor of the Church of Iomedae, the Bringer of Light. I require assistance in a certain delicate matter involving one of your companions, young Court or Count Daeran Arende. What brings you here? I ask that you assist the Church of Iomedae in investigations of an utmost importance. I understand that a leader of the crusade has plenty of other matters to attend to, but please allow me to tell you the details. Perhaps it will explain why I'm calling upon you. The Inquisitor's open face instantly reveals his feelings. He frowns and looks at you, lost in his thoughts for a moment. I suppose you have already heard about Count Arende's story. I refer to the tragedy at the Heaven's Edge estate. You're going to investigate this old case again, aren't you? Yes, I am. I have several reasons to doubt the widely shared accounts of what exactly happened at the estate, and how it happened. You see, Commander, I was among those sent to examine the estate after this incident. I saw everything with my own eyes, and I can still remember it clearly, even though it feels like it happened a lifetime ago. Heaven's Edge was a unique place that still carried the spears of old Mendev before the World Wound, and yet on that day it turned into a labyrinth of House of Horrors, like something only seen in our nightmares. Apologies for the discretion, I wanted to tell you about my suspicions. Everything about the incident seemed odd. Why was the only person left alive a young boy with newfound talent for divine magic? Why did nobody send for Kenabres for help, even though the agony spanned many hours? We found the demons dead with their heads cut off when we got to the estate. How were they defeated? How did the disease kill even the paladins present at the estate, who's said to be immune to any disease? If the demons have found a way to penetrate the Holy Warrior's defenses, why has this never been repeated since the tragedy at Heaven's Edge? You're the only person who can help me here, Commander, because the only living witness of those events is currently serving in your army. Your army route will take you to the very site of this tragedy. Heaven's Edge has been abandoned and sealed with potent magic throughout all these years, and only the Count has the power to break the seal. He is unlikely to invite Inquisitor inside, and in any case he won't like me sniffing around his family seat. But if you, as his commander, express your wish to visit the estate, he'll be obliged to fulfill it, and I will simply follow you as one of your attendants. There are 100 ways, 1,000 paths, and a myriad of loopholes in human lives that the forces of evil can use to their advantage. I am not sure which one of those led the demons to the gates of Heaven's Edge, but I do know it wasn't a simple raid. The kind crusaders face every day. That incident involved a significantly more powerful entity, and that is why I am asking for your help. We cannot be sure that this is such a tragedy that will not happen again until we uncover the truth. Tell me about what happened in Heaven's Edge. Well, you've already been to the estate several times. What do you expect to find now? I was young and experienced Inquisitor when I first visited Heaven's Edge 10 years ago. My skills have improved significantly since then, and I have paid dearly for that. The door makes a vague gesture, pointing to his scars. My arsenal includes many spells and teachings dedicated to gathering information about people and events. Almost all of them require me to be physically present in the place where the event in question happened. That is why I must return to Heaven's Edge. Why can't you just go search yourself without involving me? The estate is abandoned and sealed with powerful containment enchantments that only the Count himself can lift. This is not the main reason, however. The main reason is that the Count Arende is not officially under investigation by the Inquisition, so I couldn't just break into his house even if I found a way to bypass the spells. This is a serious matter. The Tor frowns. A matter that threatens the reputation of the entire Church of Iomade, and my own organization in particular. We made more than enough unforgivable mistakes during the Third Crusade, and are still dealing with the consequences. Your presence will give my investigation the necessary legitimacy, Commander. But there is more. In addition to getting official permission, I'd also like to bring an independent third-party investigator to this case. Someone independent but well-respected. And you fit this role perfectly. Did you question Daeran himself? I did, but the Count insisted he couldn't remember anything about the incident due to severe shock. He saw the demons at the very beginning when they appeared at the celebration to announce the onset of the plague and mock their victims. He also witnessed the death of his mother, Countess Selia. That was all he would tell me. The Tor pauses. We have found the young Count sleeping like a log on the floor in one of the rear chambers, having drunk about half the family wine cellar all by himself. There's no reason to disbelieve him on that matter. So you suspect Daeran is hiding something, that he's to blame for the tragedy. I deliberately refuse to entertain any theories or suspicions, so that it doesn't affect the investigation. There's a saying among my colleagues that suspicion is the mother of prejudice, and prejudice is married to failure. I can only tell you that Count Arende wasn't suffering from demonic possession, the most common maladies in our country at the time. Prelate Holrun himself examined the boy right after the tragedy, and he didn't sense anything awry with him. Fine, I will help you. What do you need me to do? The Tor bows his head to you with exceptional reverence. Thank you, Commander. Now I ask you speak with the Count and tell him that you wish to see Heaven's Edge. Please, do not inform him of my presence right away. I will join your escort when it's time to travel to his state. When we get there, I will also require your help during the investigation. You will have to follow me, observe my actions as an independent witness. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask me. I will remain here for a while, rather. Alright, are you one of Prelate Holrun's followers? The Tor faces freezes for a moment, but he nods. Yes, of course. Alright, what is your opinions on his atrocities? The Tor is silent for a while. Usually people reveal such things about themselves only to their confessor, not to some curious stranger. Still, I did ask for your help, and that imposes certain obligations upon me. Let me put it like this. I spent enough years by Prelate Holrun's side to learn how to keep things from going over the line. He was an extraordinary man, the vengeful sword of our goddess in human form. He was fighting in the vanguard, fearlessly taking down demons, exposing the cult's plots all by himself. He had served the Inquisition twice as long as I have, and eventually his own paranoia and monumental sense of responsibility eroded his mind. May Iomade guard his soul. Where were you during Kenabres? I was on the hunt. A very successful one. But as often happens in life, the minor success that was a mere harbinger of a larger failure. If I hadn't been so far away from Kenabres on the day of the attack, I might have been able to help my comrades and prevent a number of deaths. Thank you for your answer. It is not an easy topic for me. I prefer not to talk through this again. Alright. Tell me more about yourself, Inquisitor, before we go. I am Ulfin by birth, but I have lived in Mendev for most of my life, dedicating myself to the service of the Inheritor. My warrior brethren mostly worship Gorum, but I've never been eager to fight for the sake of battle alone. I was a good fighter in my early youth, and could easily best most of my peers, but I didn't enjoy showing off my skills. Victory is bland on its own. Purpose adds flavor to war. I can't say that I have always been faithful to the Sword of Ione. Back in my mercenaries, fate brought me to the borders of Mendev, where I spent quite a lot of time among the Crusaders. Fighting shoulder to shoulder with my righteous comrades in arms and watching demons commit their atrocities eventually led me to do something I had been seeking my whole life. Purpose and faith. That is how I found my calling. Even though it may be hard at times, I've never regretted my decisions. Alright. So apparently we got to convince... Well, we gotta go to the next area, so yeah, I guess we're talking with Daeran about that. For now, though, we should be fine. We'll do a save here. And yeah, continue on. It's gonna be a lot of lore here, so expect a lot of talking. I'll try to minimize it as much as I can, but I can only do so much.
Hello again. I'm very pleased to meet you. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
A young cleric stands before an easel, his brush hovering over the canvas without touching it. Instead of painting, the young man absent-mindedly gazes at the sky of Kenabres, which is still streaked with towering plumes of black smoke. Finally, he notices you and smiles, shaking off his stupor.
It's a pity I wasn't there at the Grey Garrison to witness your feats of strength with my own eyes. The flash, however, could be seen miles and miles away. Some people were frightened of it, thinking that the demons had blown up the remains of the keep. I, for one, knew immediately that it was a good sign. The light above the city showed us that there was still hope.
Who are you, and how can you possibly be of use to my army?
My name is Sozio Vanek. I am a cleric of Shaylin, the Eternal Rose and the Goddess of Beauty. Yes, I know that many people would consider me useless in a war. This is not a usual war, though. Just consider our enemy. The Abyss and his demons are the very embodiment of everything evil and ugly in the world. Perhaps a disciple of kindness and beauty might come in handy.
Socio smiles with embarrassment.
I have no doubt that we will win this war, Commander. We just have to. It is our destiny. My role is to help you, and all those standing by your side in this struggle, to survive and flourish. Everyone deserves the chance to find peace and happiness in the world that they are defending so selflessly.
What are you painting? The cleric's eyes linger mournfully on the canvas. The unfinished painting depicts a temple crowned with a rainbow-tailed bird, the symbol of Shaylin. 5 people dressed in robes stand before the temple, men and women, young and old. They all gaze back at you with radiant happiness and joy in their serene eyes.
My brothers and sisters in faith. They sent me for help, and then they saved my life, Commander. If the Prioress hadn't ordered me to escape the city and seek help, I would have died right along with them. Instead, I met Queen Galfrey on my way to Nerosian, and hurriedly returned to Kenabres, only to find my friends dead on the steps of our desecrated temple.
The cleric shakes his head in sorrow.
I want to draw them the way they live on in my memory. Wise, beautiful, and loyal to their goddess and their city to the very end.
Socio touches the edges of the canvas gently, as if patting a friend's shoulder in consolation. This is why you have to treasure every moment you spend with your loved ones. Today you're together, but who knows what tomorrow may bring.
You're right. I took their company for granted and never even imagined that they might just disappear in the blink of an eye. So many words left unspoken.
Socio sighs heavily.
Now it's my duty to make sure my friends and tutors did not die in vain. I will honor their sacrifice by making this world a bit more beautiful and kind.
What made an artist enlist in the army?
Perhaps I am a true artist, or simply an amateur who defaces canvases in my spare time. My goddess is a patron of art, so painting is part of my prayer, and I put all my heart into my pieces. But I am a cleric above all else, so I must also tend to others. I went to war because here's where I'm most needed. Sure, I could be painting idyllic landscapes and offering empty prayers to my goddess, but that won't stop people from dying. My goddess has no tolerance for false piety.
You wanted to discuss something with me, right?
Yes, I have a personal request. Before we undertake our journey and leave Kenabres behind, I would like to visit Martyr Zacharias' cemetery for a funeral. It's not far from here, and it's important. I would like to pay my respects to my friends from the Temple of Shaylin who died defending the city. Also, if it's not too much trouble, I would like you to come with me to honor their memory. Their friends and family will be at the funeral, and perhaps the commander's personal presence will bring them comfort. I know that you are burdened by many cares right now, so I understand if you can't find the time. But if you could, I would be sincerely grateful.
It was nice meeting you. Now I have to go.
You must be rather busy indeed. Leading a crusade all by yourself is no joke. I still believe that you are up to the task. This war has been raging for 100 years, but you've given us a chance at victory.
Sure, sure. Hey, Daeran. There you are. So how do you like your new role, advisor? Daeran winces. You also enjoy poking me with that stick, don't you? Imagine it, me, a crusader. If my dearest cousin hoped to teach me a lesson, she managed it perfectly. An assignment I couldn't avoid without losing face. This idiotic journey leading straight into Demon's Maws. I could have been on a pleasant boat right now, with the loveliest songstress in Patax on my arm, and a bottle of the finest Keonan wine to keep us company. Incidentally, I blame you all for all this. Daeran lets out a sigh. Well, actually, I think Cousin Galfrey is to blame for everything that's happened to me. And I suppose some of my misdeeds could be considered my own fault, but I can hardly be expected to take responsibility, can I? Certainly not. Therefore, I shall lay all the blame at your door, and plot my revenge. He gives you an innocent smile. Did you also receive a fraction of that unusual power? Looks like it. I genuinely hope that getting away from you would be the end of it. If your gift truly did come from Iomade, then giving me a smidgen of that power was a very subtle joke on her part. I have no idea that our divine Lightbringer of Mendev even had a sense of humor. Don't get me started on many acts of sacrilege against her. That obscene engraving, the truth about the test of the Starstone, is the tamest one by far. People say you're deliberately trying Queen Galfrey's patience. That true? Does it even matter? All of Mendevian's high society has declared war on me. They either despise me or they're trying to steer me back on the right path. And I'm doing everything in my power to keep them on their toes. I relish the prospect of all the fun this mess in Kenabres will bring. Daeran grins from ear to ear. I shall either commission a song about the great Kenabres fiasco from a certain talented bard, or confuse the jewelers with a rather tall order. A batch of silver dragon toys with detachable heads. Give me a week, and they'll be in every shop in the capital. Your jokes are silly and childish. If you really want to get revenge, then make your enemies suffer. That is quite dangerous, tiresome, and probably not very fun. Besides, nobody has really pestered me all that much yet. Still, Daeran suddenly adopts a more serious expression. I wouldn't mind making the demons suffer. Our righteous society loves to frown upon torture of prisoners. Would they frown quite so much on if the prisoner in question were the incubus or succubus? I'd love to visit Heaven's Edge and see the Arendse estate someday. Oh, I was just about to mention it myself. I've been thinking, now that I've been in the middle of this whole crusade nonsense, I simply must devise new ways to have fun. With all the recent commotion, my birthday completely slipped my mind. What if we were to celebrate it at Heaven's Edge? It's not far from here, and you'll get to enjoy a banquet in a bona fide haunted house. Daeran seems to have trouble getting the words out, which clearly indicates how rarely he has to ask for anything. Since you're my superior and I'm your advisor, I'm obligated to ask for your permission to leave for the festivities. And I want to invite you, too. I'm sure the commander can free up an afternoon while his soldiers are on leave. Alright, deal. Perfect. You'll have a ball. I'll make sure of it. Something strange flickers in Daeran's smile. Alright, I should go. Take care. Alright, that's organized up. We don't have any people there that we got to worry about. We got some recruits here. Let's see. There's some loot dotted here and there, so we can grab some of that. That's concerning. A letter. Hold on. Let's see. I spit on the streets of Kenabres. I spit on its granite walls and its stained glass windows. If tomorrow the ground trembles, splits apart, and devours this cursed city, I will not shed one tear. Not one here, not a single soul deserves any compassion. Everyone who lives in this city is a criminal. If there were any justice in this world, every one of them would be hanged from the gallows. Prelate Hulrun and Queen Galfrey chief among them. Ask anyone on the street what they know of mongrels. The answers will be dumb silence and the lowered eyes of the scoundrel who knew their crimes but doesn't want to think about it. Mongrels! A disgusting nickname which the residents of the city have been given to the brave crusader heroes who defeated the forces of evil but paid for it with their health. Covered with scabs and tumors, bloated and gnarled, they were no longer beautiful, enough to be tolerated by the very people they'd saved. As a reward for their heroism, the city dwellers exiled them to the sewers and damp caves beneath the city. The author of these words went down there and spoke with them, and I'll have you know that the ugliest of them is more noble than all the paladins of Mendev, not to mention the head-chopping prelate and his murderous queen. If any pretended that today's city dwellers aren't responsible for the crime of their grandfathers, then I will spit in their face. For the grandchildren of the exiled are still down there, crawling in the mud and eating garbage. And everyone who thought about this and does nothing, and everyone who should know but prefers blissful ignorance, I say they're all guilty. And they repeat the same crime every day. As long as this doesn't change, any citizen who desires to fight a demon should take a knife and stab themselves in the stomach. For your city is already rotted, and you are no better than the demons. And if anyone would repent and right this terrible wrong, they should turn their weapons on the prudish paladins who preach good but defend an order that flies in the face of justice. Down with the paladins. Down with Prelate Hulrun. Down with Queen Galfrey. That is a very dangerous letter to leave alone in the community. I'm kind of concerned, honestly. We'll grab everything we can and just go from there, I suppose. Let's see. Alon of the Houndheart, Gianna Aldori. Hello. Nothing really to say there, okay. There appears to be some more loot somewhere. It's just hiding. Where? It should be over in the corner here somewhere. There we go. Grab that. Oh, there appears to be something here as well. Grab that. Nice. And we've got Selia here. We'll do a quick save here. Because, you know, we've been going about this a long time, so.
So, what do you reckon about everything that's come crashing down on us? All the responsibility, command, this new power?
Selia looks anxious. She's honing her sword, but her movements seem nervous. The girl doesn't even notice you at first, but when she does, she smiles cheerlessly and stops what she's doing. I haven't figured it out yet. We'll see what happens next.
Watching and waiting is a good strategy. Probably. I'm still frightened by what happened in the Grey Garrison. Were we really chosen? By Iomade herself? You know, back when I was a snot-nosed kid who just started down the path to becoming a paladin, I imagined once or twice that I was going to do something heroic. The lights would shine down on me, the trumpets would sing, I'd hear the voice of the goddess, or at least her herald, you know? I'd be informed that I had been chosen for a great cause. But that's the point where my imagination always failed me. Somehow, it really happened. Without all the trumpets or the herald or even anyone explaining what I had to do. Though it's clear as day, my place is here, in this demon-ridden wound. Quite a lovely war going on, in fact. Endless, I hear. I'm gonna need some time to wrap my head around this. Spare me an hour and I'll crawl into some dark corner and whine about my hard lot. What can I tell you? I cry easily.
Alright. Well, there's nothing else to talk about, so we'll just continue on from there. Hello, Alon. Okay. Grelton's is fine. Lamb Kid is going to be a very prominent actor, I'm sure. Seems to be some recruits just hanging around. And we got Earth Elementals just running amok, interestingly enough. Okay. Okay, we got some recruits, crusaders, anything worthwhile of note that I should be worried about? Not that I see just yet. Oh, there's some loot here, though. We'll grab that. Some glass and ale. Okay. We'll save just in case, because I know Ninio's a bit interesting. Ah, boy, there you are. Very good. Just in time. You will be delighted to know that I need you for an experiment. So the Grey Garrison stands roofless. Demons are running for the hills with their tails between their legs. Mendev's queen, what's her name? It's on the tip of my eye, yes, Galfrey, is scurrying around to and fro, and with all this, somehow connected to you, my loyal follower. Thus, there is no scientific evidence for your exceptionality. If one discounts blind faith in divine intervention, which I do. With people of science, refuse to believe the inexplicable without any proof. We are the ones who explain the inexplainable. Ninio punctuates her statement with an energetic sweep of her arm, and therefore, open your mouth and say "ah" for me. Okay. Ninio peers in your mouth with a practiced eye. Alright, your throat's fine, tongue looks perfectly normal, your breath. The smell is in line with the regular functioning of the digestive system. Now for your teeth. She sticks one hand in your mouth and probes each of your teeth in turn, with the skill of a seasoned dentist. No detectable altercations. By the way, did you know that many individuals, while being wholly civilized, representatives of their races still have an amazingly powerful bite? As if suddenly recalling something, Ninio promptly pulls her hand out of your mouth. If someone gets on my nerves, I can bite hard enough too. Can you? We definitely must test that someday. But not today. Now we are conducting an experiment of a different kind. Moving on. Alright, what do we have next? Ears. Let's check your hearing. Testing. Ninio yells right in your ear and nods in satisfaction as she observes your reaction. Your hearing is fine. Was fine. But don't worry, it is scientifically proven that it should return to normal soon. Next. Ninio circles you. Eyes are clear, posture is satisfactory, limb length is standard, no lice. She stops, rubs her chin in contemplation, and in a slightly dejected tone says, Boy, you are the picture of health. It's a pity. I was expecting to find some anomaly. Well, now let's assess your mental state. Imagine a hypothetical situation. You are a tree. 2 squirrels have found their way into your hollow and are now copulating there. What do? I do precisely nothing because I'm a tree. An unconscious act of withdrawal along with the lack of trust in your own abilities. Or perhaps just a healthy dose of pragmatism? On to the next question. Another hypothetical situation. You are a tomato. You have just been picked from the vegetable patch and put into a crate. You know that today the cook will use half the tomatoes from your crate to make soup. What do? There's nothing I can do. I'm a tomato, remember? An unconscious act of withdrawal, inability, or unwillingness to see something bigger behind something small. Alright, I understand. On the surface, it appears you don't really believe in your ability to change things, but in fact you are a strong pragmatist who knows perfectly well what you can and can't do. Your reasoning is that of a mortal, one who is capable of achieving a great deal, though he would deny even that. On that note, I deem this experiment complete. Thank you for your participation. Ninio looks at you pensively and then gestures you with a wide sweep of her arm. And yet you remain a puzzle to me. I love puzzles. One of these days I will solve you completely. Unless I forget. Now I have time to answer your questions. Come on, ask away. No.
Forwards?
Just
no.
no.
Backwards.
She's a handful. I'll just say that much. Well, at least we got rope, so that's good. Hello, Halor. Halor nods approvingly. You've earned the title of commander. Kenabres still stands thanks to you, but you have to be doubly on your guard. Your Eminence place a target on your back, and there are assassins about. Killing a high-ranking crusader would bring a demon far more prestige than killing a common soldier. Not long ago, I stymied a few of the Spinner of Nightmare's attempts on the lives of influential crusaders, so I know what I'm talking about. What influential crusaders did you save from the Spinner of Nightmares? I've been hunting the Spinner of Nightmares for over a year. My agents. By that time, I created a proper network. Reported to me that she'd returned to Neurosian. I immediately suspected that she was planning a great atrocity. By that time, I learned all too well what Spinner was master of illusions and charms. That's why I never left the house without this. Lord takes a monocle from his pocket and puts it on carefully. This is the Eye of Truth. Allows me to see through illusions. My friends got it from the priests of Nethys. However, neither this monocle nor my network of agents were adequate to prevent the attacks, and we were nearly too late. The Spinner of Nightmares decided to strike at the Cruciform Cathedral. They had gathered to celebrate the victory of the First Crusade. It was a great holiday, and there was a lavish ceremony at the cathedral. An influential priest, Anthulicatus, was in charge of the festivities. They were intending to crown him with a tiara and a symbol of his high status, but the sacred tiara has been replaced. The Spinner had obtained it, and Inculitus, a sentient and rather ominous Kelpoloid from the other end of the world. She raised it from an elver and trained it carefully, and she cast an illusion on it so that everyone would see it as a tiara. The moment its shell was placed on Atulius' head, the cephalopod would release its tentacles and penetrate the priest's skull. Its poison would seep into his brain, and it would seize control of Ancolius' dead body. Fortunately, we were able to stop this madness in time. I spotted a Spinner of Nightmares in the crowd, chased her down, and we ended up crossing swords on the roof of the cathedral. I nearly defeated her, but she fled upon the giant stallion, which she was able to run across the air as if it were on the ground. I was so close to catching her. She suffered a setback, but I let her escape. Hilor's bitter and angry smile shows he hasn't made peace with his failure. Tell me about your confrontation. You know what? Let's talk about this later. I'm gonna go. Okay, what else is there? Alright, we've got Camilla, we've got Wooljif, we got a talk with Wenedug. I guess there's a talk with Ember that we gotta do, but not that pressing. We're gonna save here and just see what else the conversations have before we move on. What do you think of the power you received from me? Camilla shrugs nonchalantly. People of noble descent grow accustomed to ample opportunity. The powers I received from you are useful, but I see no point in treating them with excessive piety. Alright. There's a mysterious elf. There's Wooljif. Okay, let's talk with the elf, I guess. Damn it. You again, soldier. The bearded quarters master gives you a friendly mod. What can I do for you? I saw you talking to the girl hiding her face. Who was she and what did she want? I don't know, Commander. She never introduced herself, but I bet she was not part of our army. I know all the soldiers by name and sight. Wilser frowns gloomily, his cordially gone in an instant. She was looking for some elf volunteer, wanted to know which tent he was sleeping in. At first I thought she was a messenger from Mendev. She definitely wasn't one of us, but now I see how it all looks mighty shifty. The quartermaster eyes you with concern. She was some sort of spy then. Your supply would do any wine shop proud. Wilser smiles shyly. Don't you think I'm trying to encourage drunkenness among our crusaders? It's all good fun, a way to blow off some steam. When soldiers can gather by the fire and raise a cup in honor of both the living and the dead, it reminds them that life goes on. But those who drink in excess, or the detriment of their duties, won't get dropped from me. There's no sight more depressing than a drunkard. Alright, let's sell some stuff, because we collected a ton of materials, and we can just milk that resource as much as possible. We don't need any of these, so we'll just sell these real quick. There we go. Anything else? Not really. Quite satisfied with a lot we got. Okay, we'll sell that. And we are good to go. Okay, let's talk with Woljif, I guess? We'll start with Horgasworm. Horgasworm has been expecting you. Thumbs stuck in his belt. There you are. I've been waiting, as you see. I too joined a crusade. I don't know how to swing the sword, but war was costly, and I have money. Besides, my intellect and business sense may prove useful even on the battlefield. Besides, I believe... Horgus shifts awkwardly from foot to foot. I believe I owe you an apology. The way I behaved was... rude. Ill-mannered. You are an honest and honorable person. You have clawed your way up from the bottom of society to the title of Knight Commander, and you are friends with Queen Galfrey herself. Such persistence reserves respect. Horgus tilts his head in a brief acknowledgement of your merits. Please allow me to give you this magic amulet from my humble personal treasury, to mark our future cooperation. Right, we've covered most of this, so we don't need to go over it. What can you tell me about Count Daeran Arende? The nobles in Kenabres should be acquainted with each other, should they not? He is a brilliant young man, with a brilliant pedigree, and that story of his... Nobility is the glue that keeps our society together. I suppose that is why demons so often choose their estates as primary targets. Who would notice the demons' bloody massacres if they only slaughtered poor countryfolk? The Rendelay family shared the tragic plight of worms, along with many other members of nobility. They fell victim to treacherous attack during the major celebration after taking place in their family estate. I haven't received an invitation, and I was slightly insulted by the snub. But it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. The gods saved me from a terrible fate. All the guests died that day from a magical demonic disease. I sympathize with the Count deeply. He has endured so much, and it's no wonder he keeps himself aloof from me. I think this is due to the fact that Horgasworm's fate so resembles his own, and we both have to relive those horrible memories whenever we see each other. I see. We received the Amulet of the Blackened Mirror. When the wearer of this amulet uses a hex, the DC of the saving throw against it is increased by 1. Now, I don't need to say this, but that is a very powerful ability, getting a bonus to a save. So we're going to immediately give that to Evelyn, who is going to be spamming sleep spells. And you can probably understand why I'm doing that, for a number of reasons. But yeah, that is something we'll be doing. We'll talk to Woljif next. We'll do a save here. But off we go. Woljif gives you a friendly wave. Hey, Chief, want to talk? What do you think of my new powers? Woljif pauses to think, rubbing his chin. You mean what you did back there? I had a few ideas. We could send you to Patax, underground arena to fight. Give you a scary name like Swiftsting or something like that. Give you a great cover story. Enemies burn down your house, you're avenging your dead family. The public eats that stuff up. You'll wear a shiny, eye-catching outfit, or a black one if you like black better. We'll split the prize money 60-40. 60 for me, of course, you know, arranging fights isn't easy. Those with people are tough. I'll be taking more risks than you. And after we get set up in Pitax, we'll tour different cities. Make you some real money. What do you think? Like the sound of it? Do you have any other suggestions? Woljif grins, his yellow eyes lighting up. I got one more. Have you ever heard of Rasmaran? It's some land in the River Kingdoms ruled by King Rasmir. A friend of mine used to live in Marin. He's got out of there as fast as he could. Long story short, this King Rasmir of theirs is God. He keeps his people under his heel. They are all terrified of what he might do. He sits on the throne wearing some white mask, giving power to anyone. Come and take power from me, he says, as long as you believe in me. Woljif quickly checks that no one is eavesdropping. But that friend of mine, the one who fled, has a half-sister on his old man's side who's a cook in the castle. And a washerwoman who's the cook plays cards with the evening told her juicy rumor. Word is, Razmir isn't a real god at all, and he's got no powers. So here's my point. You do have the powers, pretty scary ones too. We'll find some shabby little kingdom, I'll start some rumors, you show off a few tricks to wow the locals, and that's it. We'll make you a city, a deity. But first, I want you to put it in writing that I'll be your chief advisor. I'm not doing anything just on the nod. I'll be there. People promise you mountains of gold, and then when it comes to it, they'll all get lost, or I'll set the dogs on you. So, do you like this idea? It's a great idea. We'll get to work on it just as soon as we get out of this mess. Woljif rubs his hands, please. I am gonna make you such a legend. You'll love it. A survivor of Kenabres becomes a god. We'll make you a cult that will put Iomade to shame. In the meantime, you can think about what you want to do with your coins. And my insurance. Don't forget to write this declaration making you our chief advisor. Alright. So chief advisor Woljif, huh? Okay. Okay, we've talked with... Alright, so we talked with Sociel, we talked Daeran, Selia, Camilla, Woljif, we talked with a few other people. We need to talk to Wenedug, we need to talk to Irbeth, we got Ember, and then we got Nura, I do believe, so that's going to be something. Do a quick save here, let's talk with Wenedug. Wenedug greets you with a servile bow.
Master, how can I serve you?
What do you think about your new powers?
Oh, I made the right choice when I decided to serve you, Master. This power you've given me, I always felt I was destined to possess such might.
Her voice is soft and deep like a cat's purr. That army of mongrels you promised me would be quite useful right about now. The Huntress shrugs.
Yes, they would be useful in this campaign. If we had more time and weren't in such a hurry, we'd go to Sol and show him the trophies we took for demons. He'd stop shaking in fear in some of the tribes, but the way I see it, we don't have time to waste right now. We'll have to deal with Sol after we conquer Dresden.
Understood. The Huntress gazes at you with devotion.
Thank you for talking to me, Master.
Good. Ah! The beauty golem. Alright, Irbeth. Commander, allow me to say something. Irbeth looks even more serious than usual. Before you, this wasn't a war, it was agony, drawn out over decades. No one believed in victory anymore. When the demons attacked the city, for some it was a relief. At least the end had come. They had laid down their weapons and surrendered without a fight. I felt the same thing, but I somehow managed to got through on the stubbornness and a vague hope that if nobody found Anivia's body, she might by some miracle have survived. And that miracle was you. You returned my beloved to me, which I nearly lost all hope of seeing her alive again. Then you went on a suicide mission to the Great Garrison and won the city back for us. You turned a defeat into a victory. I know it wasn't easy, but you made everything seem so effortless. You do everything just like that, she says with a snap of her fingers. The Queen believes in your powers too, but for me they're just more proof of what I felt that day when I saw Anivia alive, standing next to you. You're the miracle we've been waiting for. You're the one who will finally put an end to this terrible war, and in spite of everything, deliver us the victory we so desperately need. Sorry, my throat's getting dry. With you, I'm certain the crusade will achieve what others could not. I found your scabbard with your family name on it in the Great Garrison. Irbeth looks down. This scabbard held the solemn hour, my family's sword. My father once fought with it, and I took it when I left home to become a paladin. Alas, it was not stolen. I parted with my heirloom willingly, to help someone dear to me. Anevia needed expensive healing, and, having no other way to procure the money, I pawned my father's sword. I think he would have understood. I'm sure he would have given up everything to help the family. I'd hoped to redeem the solemn hour eventually, but there was never enough money, and soon the sword disappeared from the pawn shop altogether. I have no idea who took it, Seems like I'll have to part with my father's sword forever. Is Anevia sick? You'll forgive me if I don't want to go into any detail. It's a private matter. Suffice to say, everything is fine now. The treatment was costly, but it was worth it. You had the Order's coffers at your disposal, did you not? How could you ever suggest that? Erebeth lovingly traces a name printed on silver in the scabbard lever. My parents were loyal servants, yet it wasn't enough to earn the title of or coat of arms. Still, however humble our name might be, it was worth something. I don't know if I'll ever see the Salnauer again, but at least I'll have its scabbard back. Thank you. So it turns out that the Queen has her head of counterintelligence watching me. I wonder why. You think the Queen doesn't trust you? If that were true, she wouldn't have put you in charge of this army. My main task is to be your advisor until you've gained enough experience as commander. As for counterintelligence, Anevia and I were tasked with keeping an eye on your inner circle. But you're not under suspicion, Commander. You're under our protection. We need reinforcements. Can you get us more soldiers? When we begin to march to Dresden, we chose speed over numbers. If I order more volunteers to be recruited, they simply won't arrive in time. We could pay mages to deliver the troops on the camp, except I doubt our army's coffers could afford it. If you can spare 7,500 gold coins, I'll see to our reinforcements. Perhaps later. As you command. It's hard to believe your origins are so humble. You deserve a noble title more than any who inherit them. Erebeth's cheeks blush a little. Thank you, Commander. It's an honor to hear that, especially from you. Every noble family begins somewhere. You must have heard the recent story from the Stolen Lands in the River Kingdoms. Just imagine, coming from nowhere and making all the way to a royal crown just in a few years. Sometimes I wonder what would happen if I managed to distinguish myself somehow. But then I would push away such unworthy selfish thoughts, of course. We don't fight for rewards. The fate of the world is at stake, and yet... She continues to blush and falls silent. Alright. Anything in the tent worth noting beyond this? I guess we got some more loot here. Cool. Grab that, and out we go. Cool, we're looting a lot. It's going to take us a while to clear up everything, but considering how far we've been going, it's not bad. Alright. Let's check out this, let's check out Nura's tent before we talk with Ember. We'll do a quick save here and go from there. God, there's so much stuff that I have to cover. Geesh.
Wherever my legs carry me.
Okay, loot. Nothing there. Knight Commander, how can I help? There's so much I can do. Just ask. Nura looks at you with eyes filled with enthusiasm. She's holding a notebook and a traveler's inkwell. You've probably heard about the wound I have, the one that sometimes opens on my chest. Can you perhaps tell me if it's some kind of demonic curse? Yes, indeed. I've been told of your affliction. Nura peers at the center of your chest. Can you will the wound to open? No? That's a shame. What can you tell me about this wound? Well, it's difficult to say. I know blades that leave nether healing cuts, of poisons that stop wounds from healing. I've heard of witches' curses that are rewarded with eternal wounds. But wounds that seem to reopen and heal over and over? Perhaps you know other cases like this. Let's think. In 4671, a Mendevian army corporeal had all his bones and cartilage turned to glass. In 4700, a scribe in Kenabres had all her skin simply come away, like she's been boiled. And in 4638, oh, you don't happen to have insects crawling over you? Locusts? No? Rats, perhaps? Too bad. Nura looks at you with genuine regret. Do you think it's dangerous? It most likely is dangerous, but you're under protection of Iomade, Commander. She granted you mythic power, and as they say, surely the Inherited would not leave you to face this alone. Have you perhaps noticed that the wounds open at the moments where you waver in your faith? Perhaps it is triggered by doubt? Frowning, Nura looks at you with sincere concern.
I'm sorry I couldn't tell you anything useful. I'll be sure to study this matter and consult a few of my encyclopedias.
How about yourself?
Oh my, I could tell you so many amazing things that you choose the most boring one of all. But alright, about myself then.
Where are you from?
Isgir, a small piece of land that proudly calls itself a country. Though, it hasn't been independent for a single day in all the countries it existed. They have a lot of national pride, but all of it is borrowed, always looking at the great day when they can at last be free from the rule of Cheliax. The Isgri love talking politics. If two of them start bargaining over beasts at the market, you can always be sure that they'll end up arguing about whether an independent Isgir will be a monarchy or a republic. I've always found it funny to listen to, and a little disgusting. You see, there are a lot of us halflings in the country, but very few are citizens. Most are slaves. I was lucky. I've always been clever ever since I was little, so they sent me to school instead of making me do grunt work. They taught me to count and write, and I was sold as a secretary to Lord Axelor Tesbot. He's the one I left Isgir with. Never to return, I hope.
How did you come to serve Galfrey?
I was a slave of Lord Alexer Tresbot in Isgir, my homeland. Oh, what a man he was. He towered over his fellows like a rock over garbage heap. A true hero. He brought me a simple secretary, but he made me learn the history of the world wound. All of it. One volunteer after another. He hired tutors for me, even sent me to meet prominent historians. He didn't want a simple slave, but a slave with an impeccable education. Lord Tresbot was going on a crusade. He firmly believed that the servants of good gods were weak, and only followers of Asmodeus could stand against the demon invasion. He took me along as a secretary, a historian, and most likely he entrusted me with recording his glorious story for future generations. In his crusade, Lord Tresbot performed many brave feats, but even he could not stand against the world wound alone. In his final battle with the demons, when my lord realized he was doomed, his final act was to cover my retreat, so that I could tell the world of his great deeds. Some people have said that what he did was not heroic, just an arrogant moron puffing himself up one last time, but I say curse their tongues. My difficult journey ended in Mendev when I found my freedom. There, I published Lord Tresbot's biography, and I don't want to boast, but who am I kidding? Of course I do. The book sold in great numbers, and made me rather famous for a time. That's what brought me to the Queen's attention. She invited me to the court, after all. After all, she was curious about my deceased lord, and she was in great need of an expert on the history of the world wounds. I hope you find me useful as well.
So you're not just a historian, but a writer too. Will you write a book about my crusade?
Why not? As soon as we finish with the demons, I'll get right to it. Just take care that you don't end up like Lord Tresbot.
Do you worship any deity? She makes a wry face.
When I was a slave to Isgir, they would beat me with a stick and force me into believing in Asmodeus. They hit me and said I was good. It was on my own good. Ever since then, I don't like temples. I realize that there are different gods like Desna or Caden who teach goodness and freedom, but it's just... As soon as I smell frankincense, I see the slave driver's stick. Maybe one day I'll be able to turn to a deity without cringing from a blow and not being reverent enough, but for now, I'll let others pray for me.
Nura's smile trembles, then collapses. Nura wants to add something, but decides to let the painful subject drop. I understand. I'm not a big fan of temples and prayers myself. Worshipping a deity is like choosing to become a slave. Nura sighs as if intending to answer, but then just shakes her head sadly.
Can we please talk about something more cheerful? You see, this is a touchy subject for me. You're welcome, but you should ask me more about something more interesting.
How about the history of the world wounds? And I understand, Varla. I will wrap it up soon. Just give me a bit. Alright, I'm not gonna do that. Okay. I'll talk about that later, to be honest. We're gonna have to cover this next time, I think. But first and foremost, let's just cover around the area, see if there's anything else. Ember, anything to say? How are you handling your new abilities? 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 The girl tilts her head on her shoulder. What are you talking about? Oh, the tricks you learned when the big gray house blew up? They're funny. Thanks for teaching them to me. The Queen gave me the title of Knight Commander and put me in charge of our army. What do you think about that? The elf focuses her wandering gaze on your eyes, smiles and shakes her head. Don't believe titles. All of us in the world are children of the street. Barefoot, hungry, scared. A step away from death. Some imagine they're strong and rich like gods, but don't forget who you really are behind the title. Alright, nothing to add. Understandable. Okay. Don't see anything else of note, and I don't exactly want to talk with our resident here for the... We don't want to go through the constant debate of the... Yeah, we don't want to go through that long talk with her. I don't think there's anything else in this camp to note. And while we didn't do much here, I'm going to have to wrap it up. Do we have enough money to squelch on getting to the amount we need, though? We need 1,500 gold if we're going to attempt to get what we want here. Let's see. Holy Sword Scroll. That's a very powerful ability. Got some haste, displacement. Do we need jade? Yeah, we're fine. Okay. I might have to sell some stuff. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this head. I guess I'll keep it for now. But, yeah. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to wrap it up here. We'll see if we can gather anything else. I think there's some stuff over here that we can grab. Yeah, there's like a chest here. Well, not a chest, but a crate, but... all the same, we'll grab it. We'll see what else there is. I don't think there's anything else. We've basically collected everything, yeah. We're basically good. Yeah, so... for next stream, we're probably going to finish Nura Denoir's tent and get that conversation finished. So we're probably going to talk about the World Wounds. And for next stream, we are finally actually going to be... well, I guess I'm going to have to change the title. We didn't actually do any fighting, but... for next stream, what we are going to do is, instead of lore and all that shenanigans, we're going to be doing a lot of fighting and a lot of quests. So... be ready for that. I expect a lot of combat, most likely. Not a fan of the wisdom damage that we suffered, but we'll find cures for that in the meantime. But yeah, we're going to enjoy everything we theoretically can, and we're going to get stronger, most likely. So, for those of you on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell notification if you want to see more stuff. If you want to see my stream, well, yeah, sorry, I need to redo that. For those of you on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell notification if you want to see more of my stuff. I stream daily, so when you catch my streams, you can catch me 3 to 7 MST time. If you want to catch my streams, the best way to do so is search me up at FYMyPawn at twitch.tv. Alternatively, if you're checking from YouTube, you can check the About section on my YouTube channel, and there should be a link there, within there. Or, if you're watching the video itself, you can check the link down below in the description. For those of you on Twitch, or those of you from YouTube come to Twitch, welcome. Your support is always appreciated. If you want to support me some more, the best way to do so is provide me follows on Twitch. The more follows I have, the more content I can give you guys. Once I hit 50 followers and 3 concurrent viewers, I should be able to apply for affiliate status, which would allow me to get monetization for my videos, which would be appreciated, but I'm not going to pursue it unless you guys are, willing to support me that much. But again, it's not something I'm going to pursue. If you want to support me, the best way you can do so is follows right now. Once I hit 50 followers, that's going to be lovely. And I'm probably going to do a special event for when I get 50 followers or subscribers. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, I've got something in the works for Christmas as well, so you can look forward to that. It's going to take a drain on me every time I do it, but it might be offhanded. We'll have to see. I'm not sure. I've got something in mind, so you guys can enjoy some more content coming from me real soon. But yeah, if you want to watch my stuff on YouTube, for those of you on Twitch, the best way to do so is search me up in the YouTube search bar at FYMyPawn. Alternatively, if you scroll down from the stream, you should see 4 photos. If you click the YouTube photo there, which is the YouTube play button, it will direct you to my YouTube channel. Or, if you're watching from VODs, you can check one of the 2 links down below in the VOD's description, and you can copy and paste that into your browser, HTML, and it should link you over to my YouTube channel. But yeah, if you want to watch my older content, the best way to do so is on YouTube. So everything since day 1 is on there. So if you want to watch something, you know, if you want to watch the beginning of this series even, that is the best way to do so. If you want to watch my more new stuff, the best way to do so is on Twitch, because that has about 6 videos worth of content every single day, so that's something to enjoy. But I digress. I hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. I know I did. And I will see you guys next stream. Take care, everyone, and have a good day.